Yeah, 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 yeah. Shake it, but get pointing out all the lies. Putting the scripture right in your eyes. The Bible guy. He reads Hebrew and Greek and shows you that your book's not unique. The Bible guy. He turns through the pages until every Christian rages. The Bible guy. Watch one time and you're hooked. Now let's watch why the Christians get cooked. The Bible guy.
Howdy, folks. Bible Guy here, coming at you live from Northeast Texas. I'm going to wait until we get enough people in here before I start. I tell you guys like this, like personal good news in my life that I'm really, really happy about. And I'll let you guys know in just a moment after we get some people in here. But everyone, make sure you tap that screen. Share the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends and with your enemies. Let's get the word out there so we can have some interesting conversations about the Bible. Hello, Ashland.
Yellow.
Live visibility restriction right off the bat? I didn't do anything.
What?
Let's see. My live does not contain the thing mentioned. Submit. But looks like we already got someone off the bat who's here. Elmo, are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah.
And what pronouns do you go by?
Yeah, Hitler was right about everything.
No, he wasn't. You're a piece of shit.
Okay.
That's all. Bye.
Locked forever.
Yeah. Fuck him. Anyways, people are just, I'm gonna guess he was a Christian. People are just bad people. Is all. Christians are bad people. That's my take. I might do a live one of these days that just says Christians are bad people. You're going to hell with the word of God in your mouth and you don't accept Jesus Christ as Lord? Well, maybe stop having all your Christians be fucking Nazis.
Bro, Don, literally someone just came up and said HH was correct. Like, that's... No.
Yeah. Everett Harris, are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah, I'm 20 years old.
And what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And what? And are you a Christian?
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
All right, I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. This is my friend Ashland. The Bible is bullshit. Christianity is false. Jesus is dead. Which one of these three things would you like to talk to us about?
I guess Christianity's false.
All right, the reason I say Christianity is false is because one, Jesus claims to be the Messiah, yet he doesn't fulfill any messianic prophecy from the Old Testament. And two, no Christian has ever given me a good reason to believe that their God exists. Hi, Christina.
Okay. Yeah, so would it be okay to go into the specific prophecies?
Yeah, I would love that. My favorite topic to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I'm sure you're very familiar with these ones. So the first one I would like to do is Isaiah 53.
Well, before we can talk about Isaiah 53, I have to give you a test. Okay.
Okay.
The test is I want you to tell me the difference between these two sentences. Sentence number 1,
Sure.
I went to the store. Sentence number 2, I shall go to the store.
Yeah, so I went to the store is going to be, you already get past tense, right? Go to the store is future.
All right. Now, when we read Isaiah 53 and I read, like, for example, verse 5, and it describes the suffering of the servant, what types of tenses are being used here?
Yeah, so when you read it in English, it will, I believe Isaiah 53 in general is going to be past. Well, in Hebrew, it's a little bit more complicated because the tenses when it comes to past, present, and future is going to be a little bit different than how it is in English, right?
Perfect and imperfect.
Sure.
Vehu mecholal mi peshenu, which means what?
I'm not too sure what that one is specifically.
It means he was wounded for our transgressions.
Mm-hmm.
Which means what?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, so you're trying to say that's in the past, or it's already occurred.
Yeah, the whoever is being described here is someone who's already suffered, not someone who will suffer in the future.
Yeah, sure. But when we go a few verses later, it talks about in the future tense, right? Like when it says that I believe it's verse, I don't know what I think it might be like verse 9 or 10, where it talks about the person shall be exalted and their
Yeah,
offspring shall live.
All the exaltation for sure is in the future, but the suffering has already occurred in the past. From the perspective of this.
So I would ask you, who do you think Isaiah? I would ask you, who do you think Isaiah 53 is?
Oh, Isaiah, this author of this section of Isaiah tells us 6 times in the text who the servant is explicitly, and time again he tells us that the servant is Israel.
So I would ask you,
what?
Yeah, so I would ask you, do you think Israel fits the full Isaiah 53 prophecy?
Yes. Well, at least the righteous remnant of Israel does.
You think Israel's a righteous remnant?
Well, no, not all of Israel's a righteous remnant, but the remnant within Israel would be the righteous remnant.
But what about when it says he has done no violent nor was any deceit in his mouth?
Yeah, Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 13. You read Zephaniah 3:13, it says about the children of Israel, and I quote, they shall seek refuge in the name of the Lord, the remnant of Israel. They shall do no wrong and utter no lies, nor shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouths. They shall pasture and lie down, and no one shall make them afraid.
I mean, that one sounds like a prophecy. That one sounds like its own separate prophecy.
That one is
like, I don't think that's,
but notice that it uses the
but
same
I don't
language.
think that's connected. But I don't think that's connected.
Shall utter no lies, nor shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouths. Yeah,
so I feel like that's going to be speaking about the future Israel, not the Israel that's in the Old Testament, right?
And this is, and Isaiah 53 refers to Israel in the past, that they had done no wrong and no. That's what the righteous remnant's all about. Do you know what do you know what the righteous remnant is in Jewish theology?
No, not quite.
It means that while Israel as a whole is generally very sinful, there's always a contingency of Israelites that remain obedient and faithful to God.
Like but verse 9. Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Like in the time of Elijah.
Sorry.
Like in the time of Elijah, a lot of the people were worshiping Baal, but God said, nope, there are still like 3,000 who have not bowed their knees to Baal.
But you would say that Isaiah 53:9 is talking about a specific person, right?
No.
So when it says he has done no violence or any deceit in his mouth,
it's referring to the righteous remnant.
I mean, I just don't think so.
Are you confused? Are you confused because it uses the word he?
Well, I just think that I don't know. I just think that Isaiah 53 is talking about a specific.
But why?
It's talking about a specific person.
Why do you think that?
Because that's what people thought, that Isaiah 53 was speaking of a specific Messiah, right?
No.
Like a suffering servant was a specific Messiah.
No.
Like Targum Jonathan, for example, is a Jew, and
2nd to 5th century CE, which is written hundreds and hundreds of years after 2nd Isaiah was written.
Yeah, sure, but he still says it's a specific suffering servant.
Yeah, I don't care what people hundreds and hundreds of years later had to say.
Then why would I care about what you have to say if you're 2,000?
Well, no, we're looking at what Isaiah themselves says, and they tell us outright that the servant is Israel, like outright, Israel is my servant, over and over again.
But that's my argument. It's like it wouldn't make sense for it to be Israel, because Israel's always talked about as being sinful.
Not always. The righteous remnant are righteous. That's why they're called the righteous remnant.
Yeah, but when you look at the whole prophecy, you could say this specific verse is about Israel. But when we look at
was Jeremiah evil?
Was he evil in the sense of what? That he committed sin?
Was he like a sinful person like the rest of the nation?
I mean, he was sinful, yeah.
No. Like, was he committing iniquity Like, was he engaging in the same wickedness that the nation around him, or was he like seeking
No.
God?
Yeah, he was seeking God, sure.
What about Daniel or Isaiah or Ezekiel?
Yeah, they all committed sin, but they're still prophets of God.
They're righteous too.
Are you
aren't
trying
they?
to? Are you just trying? Yeah, you could say, yeah.
Yeah, so they are a righteous remnant within the whole of Israel, and it's not just
But
them, but there's like a whole contingency of Jews who remain faithful to God, even when the rest of the nation is wicked. God even says that the righteous
mhm,
are slayed alongside the wicked in the book of Ezekiel.
mhm. Yeah, but what about when it says they have done no violence?
Yeah, the righteous
But
remnant.
Israel, even
The righteous
you could
remnant.
say the. So you think
you keep thinking of Isaiah 53 as referring to all of Israel. It's not. It's only referring to the righteous remnant.
Yeah, but even if you say it's referring to just a small portion or the righteous remnant, then it still wouldn't make any sense because it says has done no violence and hasn't had any deceit in his mouth.
Yeah, they haven't.
What I'm trying to say-
I have a question. Even if it's not about the righteous remnant, you still aren't making the point that it's about Jesus.
Because it's someone who already suffered in the past.
But yeah, I just think that I know that I don't know. It's not really a good point to bring up for you guys, but the Gospels also connect this as a prophecy,
Doesn't matter.
and I think that the Gospels.
because again,
Yeah, sure, but I would.
the gospel quoting Isaiah 53 doesn't do away with the fact that the prophecy itself describes the servant as having already suffered.
Mhm. Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think that there are prophecies in the Bible that are referring to the Messiah?
Yeah, just none fulfilled by
Okay.
Jesus.
Sure. Do you think which ones, like Psalm 22, Daniel 7, like which ones do you think that are referring to the Messiah?
Neither of those are
Yeah,
about
sure.
the Messiah. Jeremiah
Yeah,
23
sure.
would be Jeremiah 23 would be about the Messiah. For example, it describes the future king of Israel. It says,
Mhm.
"The days are surely coming," says the Lord, "when I will," future tense, "raise up for David a righteous branch, and he shall reign as a king and deal wisely, and shall execute justice and righteousness in the land. In his days, Judah will be saved, and Israel will live in safety," which didn't happen in Jesus' time. "And this is the name by which he will be called: the Lord is our righteousness."
Mhm. Okay. Can I ask, why do you think that Daniel 7 is not referring to the Messiah?
Yeah, it's about the four kingdoms of Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and the Seleucid Empire, and then the fifth being mentioned, one like the Son of Man. Some scholars are divided. It's either a reference to the nation of Israel as a whole, or it's a reference to Michael the archangel. I'm in favor of the Israel hypothesis, as when we continue to read later in Daniel 7, because remember, it's like one who is like a son of man, just like we had one that was like a lion, one that was like a bear. All these animals are representative of kingdoms. The Son of Man figure is just representative of Israel, because it goes on to say about the nation in plural that people will bow down and like serve them in the plural.
Yeah, but it also says their kingdom's everlasting, right?
Yeah, their kingdom will be everlasting. The kingdom of Israel will be everlasting.
Yeah, I don't think that fits Israel. But also, the Son of Man is
Why
described.
not? It says them. Does it
Yeah.
not say them? All nations, and when it says that their kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey them, plural.
Yeah.
It doesn't say
That's
him.
why I'm
It
trying
says
to make.
them.
Yeah, sure. That's why I'm trying to make a distinction between the English and the Hebrew language.
The Aramaic. It's not Hebrew. It's Aramaic for Daniel chapter 7. Yishtamun is plural, not singular.
Mm. What about the Son of Man is described as being on the clouds?
Yeah, it's all symbolic language.
Yeah, sure, but like, what do you think that's symbolizing?
Great power and authority.
Well, no, it would
That's how-
symbolize
that's
this.
That's how ancient. That's how divinities were depicted in the ancient world as a symbol of power. Like Baal is pictured that way in Ugaritic texts.
Yeah, when we're talking about being on the clouds, you can connect that to, I believe it's Psalm 114 and Isaiah in chapter 19 as well, where it talks about Yahweh as on the clouds, right?
Because it's depicting him as being sovereign and having authority, just like the Son of Man figure.
Mm-hmm. But you wouldn't think that the son or the if you say that the Son of Man is Israel, they don't have the same authority as Yahweh.
Well, yet the text says that all nations shall serve and obey them.
Hmm. But again, that's still not the same authority as Yahweh,
It doesn't
right?
have to be the same authority. It's just a authority given to them by Yahweh.
Hmm. And I'm sure you're aware that Jesus connects himself to the Son of Man, but you would say that's not important.
It's not important, no, what the New Testament has to say, because I'm just looking at what the text of Daniel itself says.
Hmm. So when we're looking at prophecies in general, you don't think it's important to first like establish if the fourfold gospel is reliable historical document first?
I mean, not really, no. We can just you can make the claim that this is a prophecy about the Messiah, and then we can assess the document itself and see if it's actually about a Messiah, or if it's being
Hmm.
mistranslated or taken out of context to make it sound as if it's something about something other than what it's actually about.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, there's also another view on like the prophecies in general, whereas I'm pretty sure you've heard of this one. It's like the dual fulfillment, where there's a historical fulfillment of its time.
Yeah, it's a cope.
I mean, you could say that's a cope, but it could be. I mean, it could make sense. Like when we're talking about Isaiah 53, you could say Israel, then Jesus, and Psalm 22, you could say it's David.
But why would I say that? There's nothing in the text.
I feel like you would.
That.
I feel like you would say that because the test fits Jesus.
It doesn't though.
Pretty well.
Jesus didn't have seed.
Seed?
Yeah. It says that his seed will prosper, his offspring, Zerah, which only ever refers to physical offspring in the Hebrew Bible, and Jesus didn't have that. It also refers to the servant as a them at one point in the plural. Jesus isn't a them.
Okay. What about? Are you familiar with Genesis 3:15?
Yes, not a prophecy.
What do you think? What do you think of that one?
It's an ideology explaining why snakes and humans are in contention with one another.
Yeah, but it also makes that connection in Revelation, like the same characters.
I want you to make I want you to make a prophecy about what you think I'm going to say about that.
You're gonna say, "I'm sorry, you're right. You can't use no. We're not looking at the New Testament."
Yeah, it should be obvious from the text itself that this is meant to be a prophecy, but again, it's just talking about why it is that humans and snakes are in contention with one another.
Okay. Is it okay? Is it okay if we move to like the resurrection?
Sure. I think Jesus is dead, unless you can give me a reason to think otherwise.
Yeah, sure. So I would say that Jesus died and rose from the dead. But I'm assuming when you say he's dead, that you mean that he ceased to exist, right?
Yeah. I have no good reason to believe that he was resurrected from the dead, as we have zero eyewitness accounts of his resurrection. And all we have is Paul making the claim that he had visions about Jesus.
So I would ask you, what do you think that the intention behind the authors is of the Gospels?
To tell a story about Jesus, to perpetuate the religion, to write myths about their, Messiah figure, to teach lessons to the community.
So you would say it's under ill intent?
No, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be ill intent. When people write myths, their intention is to teach their audience lessons.
So you're saying that? Okay, sure. But you're saying that? Okay, sure. So what would make you think that? So do you think that all religions are written that way? Like, you don't think that some people actually believe these things?
What? The people? What do you mean?
Yeah, like for example, if somebody writes a story, like let's say the Gospels or the Quran or the Vedas, do you think that these are all just myths? Like people know they're myths, or do you think that people actually seen things?
I assess each individual holy text based on genre. I would have to investigate each work to see what type of literature is being employed.
And then when you look at the Gospels, what kind of literature would you say it is? You would say that it's historical.
Historical myth.
Historical myth.
It's when you blend history with mythology in order to teach lessons.
Hmm.
Like, I have
Then
good
why do you?
reasons to believe
Yeah,
that
sure.
at least some of the content of the Gospels is fabricated. Like, one of the nativity stories is definitely not true.
Which one?
That's the problem. It's kind of hard to tell. I would say both of them aren't true, but at the very least, one of them can't be true. They definitely both can't be both true.
Okay. I would ask you, why do you think that people grew? Why do you think that people actually started believing it was it was an actual worldview and a belief, like a true belief rather than myth? Why do you
They,
think that it evolved into that?
what do you mean? People believe in their myths?
Yeah, sure, but when we look at the time period, like what when would you say that people actually started believing that this was a real like an action this is something that actually happened rather than just myth?
To be clear, when I say that the Gospels are a myth, I don't mean that 100% of the content of the Gospels is made up.
Yeah, sure.
Like, there was a
Sure.
Jesus who was
Mhm.
crucified by the Romans, and then people believed that he was resurrected from the dead. But then there was other
Mhm.
parts of the story, like, for example, did Jesus ride into Jerusalem on 2 donkeys? No, the author of Matthew added an extra donkey because they misread Zechariah 9:9. Was Jesus did Jesus go to Egypt as a child? Probably not. Like, was Jesus crucified on the day before Passover? On Passover? Depends on which gospel you read. Certain elements of the story are fabricated, but it's also historical elements like the crucifixion.
Mhm. So the resurrection, though, that's a myth, right?
There are elements of the myth, like, I don't think the tomb is a true part of the story of the original Jesus. But like,
Mhm.
early people like Peter believed that Jesus was resurrected, probably because of some sort of psychological experience that they had, like a bereavement hallucination, perhaps.
Yeah. What about the other apostles?
Collective delusion.
Collective delusion.
Yeah,
So you're saying that they all.
well,
Mm,
just be clear, because people make the mistake. I said collective delusion and not collective hallucination.
sure.
All that's really
Yeah,
required
sure.
is for Peter to tell the rest of the disciples, "I've seen the Lord," and then they all pray and fast, and do what Jewish people do. And as soon as they start feeling a sense of presence in the room with them, that would be more than enough for them to confirm that Jesus is among us.
Hmm. What about Paul?
Paul also just had a vision, an internal vision, as he says that God
Mm,
revealed his son in me.
hmm. Well, he describes as seeing, like he sees Jesus in the vision.
Where?
Um,
But also, where do
I
visions
don't.
occur?
Yeah, it's in your head, but it's not like he just got a feeling. Like he describes it as actually seeing Jesus, right? Or Jesus. I don't know. It's like the story goes like he's on his way to persecute Christians, and then he's like, I think there's like a light or something.
That's
I
that's
don't know.
that's not Paul. That's the author of the Acts of the Apostles telling you what Paul experienced, but Paul never says such a
Yeah.
thing.
Hmm. Yeah, sure. So you would say that part of the story is a myth.
Oh, I don't believe the Acts of the Apostles now, especially when it contradicts Paul.
How does it contradict Paul?
Yeah, like, for example, did Paul have any interaction with other believers after his first primary visionary experience?
I'm not too familiar with that one, so I couldn't tell you.
Well, if you read the Acts of the Apostles, the answer is yes. He interacts with Ananias and other Christians in Damascus. But if you read Paul's own statement, he says that he did not have any interaction with anyone. Instead, he went straight to Arabia, and then he went to Jerusalem. Whereas in the Acts of the Apostles, he went from Damascus to Jerusalem.
Mm. I mean, it is written by two different people, right?
Yeah,
I don't think it's really like
I'll take
I
Paul's.
don't know.
If I
Yeah.
want to know what happened to Paul, I'll take Paul's statement over someone else's statement.
Sure. So you're saying that Peter basically convinced all the other, like everybody else, that Jesus rose from the dead, essentially.
No, they would have convinced themselves through the delusion.
Well, like Peter like told them, and then they like I don't know.
They
They also
they engage in religious activity that prompts religious experiences.
Mhm. But it's just hard for me to believe that like somebody would, or like multiple, it's described as hundreds of people like saw the risen Jesus.
No,
But
you
it's
don't.
also,
I assure you, you don't. It's not hard for you to believe because you deny other things. I'm sure that hundreds of people affirm. I don't
yeah,
think you believe in Islam, do you?
yeah, yeah, sure, but that's a different story because Islam
Well,
isn't
are you
described.
Catholic? Are you Catholic?
I'm not Catholic, no.
What do you think about the fact that thousands of people claim to see the miracle of the sun in Fatima,
No,
where the
I think
Virgin
no, I
Mary
think
made
that
the
is
sun dance?
yeah. So I think that is a true experience. Yeah, like I think that actually happened.
Which and the Virgin Mary
So
confirmed Catholicism in this vision.
yeah, sure. So it'd either be that Catholicism is true or it's a deceptive vision or it's like a demonic.
What about the people who saw nothing while they were there?
I mean, it's not like everybody. I mean, everybody's gonna have different. I don't know.
It's almost
just
like
like yeah.
it's almost like these religious people were told that the
Mhm.
Virgin Mary would appear on this day, so they were prompted. Then they looked up into the sky, and they looked at the sun, and then they saw the sun dancing, which is what you expect if you're going to look up into the sun. You're going to have impaired vision and whatnot. But
Mhm.
then people who weren't prompted didn't see anything. It's almost like human beings are really, really susceptible to like religious experiences that aren't true.
Yeah, but I just think that it is described as like hundreds of people seeing it. Or hundreds of people have like
Well, what did hundreds of
I don't
people
know.
Paul says that Jesus, quote, appeared opthe to 500 brothers and sisters
No, I'm
all at
talking.
once.
Well, I was talking about the
But
Mary. I was talking about the. Oh.
yeah, the sun objectively did not dance in the sky, though. We know that for a fact.
Mhm.
Now,
Yeah.
when Paul
Mhm.
says that Jesus, quote, appeared to 500 brothers and sisters all at once, what does that mean?
He appeared to 500 people at once.
What does that mean, though? Did he was it an objective appearance where like 500 people were able to see? Like if I stood in a room with 500 people, they're
Like
all able to see the same exact thing.
Like you're.
I just
Yeah,
want
you're saying-
to. I just want to know that how do you know that the what Paul was saying wasn't a deception as well? Because you've just now made an infalsifiable claim that you say everything is for it and everything that's against it is also for it. So how come I can't just apply that to your belief system?
Yeah, so I would say that none of Paul's letters have any deception in them when I read it. I don't think that when you read
Paul's letters do have deception when I read them because Paul says things that are not true, misquoting the Old Testament
deceptive.
sometimes, and also like making mistakes that either he was stupid and didn't understand Hebrew, which as a Jewish person I would have a hard time believing, or he was being deceptive about the meaning of the word. For example, seed in Genesis 3:15, Galatians 3:16.
Yeah, so deceptive meaning ill intent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
but I have
mm.
no reason to say that he's being like the deception is according to you because like sorry, my brain just broke. Yeah, like why should I believe this to be true just because he doesn't have any like clear background? Neither did the mass hysteria. Like why would them affirming Catholicism be mass deception? Like how?
Mhm. Yeah, so I would say that I feel like it is a little bit different between the First Corinthians versus the Mary thing.
Why?
Because I mean Paul's the only one that is writing about the 500 people, right? Or yeah, Paul's the only one writing about the 500 people, but when we're looking at the Mary thing, like it's multiple people saying the same thing, right?
So you're saying
Like,
that
we have
Paul's testimony is less reliable?
I mean, it has less witnesses, sure. But I mean, if you think Paul's an actual like apostle, then you would say that
that's a nothing burger to me saying that someone's an apostle. That's
Yeah.
a human-made title given to him by himself. Now,
yeah, sure.
oh God, I hate the word "sure" now.
Sorry.
Now, all I've got is one guy claiming that Jesus quote appeared to people. Now the 500, who's to say that? So, by the way, the word ophthe doesn't just refer to physical sight, like the way that you're seeing me. It also refers to an inward perception of something, such as when Paul says, "And last of all, he appeared ophthe unto me." And Paul had a visionary experience. So how do we know that these 500 people weren't having visionary experiences, either like visual hallucinations, auditory hallucinations, tactile hallucinations, or even just simply senses of presence?
I mean, if we're trying to go along with the story is that Jesus physically rose from the dead. It's
Well,
not
we're
just a
not
vision.
just going along with the story. We're critiquing the story to see if it holds up under scrutiny.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that, but I mean, I just feel like that you can claim that they're wrong. You can claim that
I didn't just
they're
claim
you
it.
you
I gave reasons for why I think it's not reliable.
yeah, sure. You can give reasons to why you think it's not reliable, but I don't think it's a good it's good.
The main problem that I have is, in order to be consistent, I wouldn't just have to believe in Christianity. I'd have to believe in a lot of different religions, and not even just religions, delusions. I would have to think that people can speak in tongues. I would have to think that the moon split in two under Islam. I would have to think a lot of things, because you're not giving me justification on why I should believe this one and not the other claims. You're just saying you're giving me an infalsifiable way of going about coming to truth within this natural world.
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I'm not gonna say sure no more. But I would say that Christianity has more evidence than the other religions because of it's a multitude thing. It's not just one thing. Like, I'm not just going to point towards
it does not have more evidence for it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make my point. I would just say that it is a multitude of things, that the resurrection, the prophecies.
Jesus fulfilled 0 prophecies, so that's not really compelling.
The resurrection accounts contradict each other, and contradictions cannot be true.
Why do you think that the resurrection accounts contradict each other?
Yeah, when Mary Magdalene approached the tomb, was the stone rolled away already, or was it did it get rolled away when she approached the tomb?
Yeah, I mean, you do realize it's written by 2 different people, right?
So you're
argue,
agreeing with me that the contradictions are in fact real.
I would say that every element inside of the Gospels is not, I don't know. I don't know. It is written by humans.
Yep, I agree. Written by humans, so it contains errors in it.
I don't know. I just think that it would be more suspicious if the Gospels all said the same thing. Because if we were looking at that today, then people would be like, "Oh, they're copying each other. They're all the same."
It would be.
Or they're trying to make this.
I would be more. No, I wouldn't think that unless they copied word for word. If they just told the same story without the contradictions, I wouldn't be suspicious. If they said the same story with the same exact word for word, I would be suspicious. Although we do have examples in the Gospels where, like, the author of Matthew, like, verbatim quotes from Mark, like, steals his work and quotes it word for word. So that is suspicious. There is collaboration going on. And then
John's story is like 3 years later. Like, this isn't the case where, like, people are, being interviewed at a car accident like a lot of Christians like to use. No, there is a whole other plot lines in this story.
Yeah.
So would you say that the 4 Gospels, when do you think they were written?
Well, according to the consensus of biblical scholarship today, Mark would have been written around 70 CE. Matthew and Luke around sometime in the 80s to 90s CE, and John from 90s to 110 CE.
I have a question. Do you remember at the beginning of this conversation what Dalton had said verbatim? Can you tell us right now?
I I mean, I don't really know what's specific. I don't know.
I bet you probably can't even like summarize because that like our memories are poor, and you're expecting us to believe that someone remembered
Well, I would. Yeah, sure.
from 50 years or 40 years later at the least, like, word for word what Jesus said and did.
I would argue that if you see a significant experience like that, then it's a little bit different. Like, I mean, wouldn't you think so? If you see like, if you claim to see somebody rise from the dead, or you truly believe that you saw somebody that's dead, and there you see him again,
Would I start including whole extra characters? Would I make up whole new storylines? Like versus like Mary Magdalene comes to the tomb, stones already rolled away, it's empty, nothing special.
Well,
Versus
those aren't really
Mary Magdalene walks up to the tomb, it's closed, an angel appears, the guards fall down, the guards that weren't in the story before, and then the angel speaks to them and then rolls away the stone. Like that's like not a small difference.
Well, I wouldn't
Yeah.
say those are, but I wouldn't exaggerate
if
and say
this-
those are whole new storylines either.
If this was a police investigation, they'd conclude that somebody was fucking lying.
Yeah.
if not everyone.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, but I would also say that, like, if we are saying that it's like 40, 50 years later, then it's also not really fair to say they have to remember every single detail. Like,
I think an
It's-
angel's a pretty important detail.
It's not just that. Like when
Well-
we read the nativity stories, they are 100% different. The only thing they have in common is that Jesus is born in Bethlehem, and every other thing is different. Not only is it different, but they take place 10 years apart from each other.
mm-hmm.
That's not small. In one version of the story, Jesus is born around 64 BCE during the time of King Herod. Him and his family live in Bethlehem in a house. Then they have to flee to Egypt to get away from Herod, and then they resettle in Nazareth. In the other story, it takes place 10 years later, during the time when Quirinius is the governor of Syria. Jesus' family don't live in Bethlehem. They're from Nazareth originally. They only go to Bethlehem for the census. They stay in an inn. They give birth to Jesus. 8 days later, they go down to the temple to get Jesus circumcised, and then they just go back home to Nazareth. No Egypt.
Yeah. But again, I just don't. I mean, it's not like going to be exactly like the same thing. Like, I understand what you're
It's
saying.
not
Like,
even
that's the
close. It's not even close to the same thing.
I don't know.
To me, it makes more sense that they misread the Hebrew, or they couldn't speak Hebrew or read Hebrew, and they get a prophecy wrong, assume that Jesus has to be born in Bethlehem, and that's the center focus of the story. But nothing else that they're writing about needs to correlate, because it's just some circulating idea or belief system at the time.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask what you guys think about the Daniel 9 verse 25?
Yeah, it doesn't fit Jesus. It actually only gets you to around 40 BCE when you do the math right. Because the book of Ezra tells you that this prophecy was fulfilled by Cyrus the Great in Ezra 1:1, which would give you the starting for the 490 years in 538 BCE. And when you add 490 years later, it only gets you to around 48 BCE.
Mm-hmm. Well, what is it that Christians usually attribute it to? It's
They attribute it to Artaxerxes, but they have to sacrifice Ezra 1:1 in order to do that, where Ezra explicitly says that Cyrus fulfilled the prophecy.
Mm-hmm. What about like when Cyrus is? I think it's Cyrus when he's mentioned Isaiah 40 something. You know what I'm talking about?
45.
Yeah. What do you think about that one? Because
The
I know
author-
most scholars.
Second Isaiah was written during the time when Cyrus was alive, which is why the author doesn't say about Cyrus that God will grasp him by the hand in the future, but that God has grasped him by the hand, that he's speaking directly to Cyrus and describing things that God has already done for Cyrus.
Mhm. I also am curious, like, what do you think about like the people in the Old Testament, like the Israelites? Like, do you think they sincerely thought there was a Messiah and that like God was speaking to them, or is that all like just a
And the
deception or illusion?
and Messiah. Well, God wasn't speaking to the Messiah because when the people of the Old Testament
No, no,
lived,
no. Speaking, yeah, yeah, no, no, no. I'm saying, like, do you think they actually believe there was a Messiah and that God was speaking like to the people, not the Messiah, like to the people, like to the Israelites? I mean,
they thought that the prophets spoke on behalf of God. Sure, the average Israelite peasant
yeah, I'm
thought
talking
that
about.
God spoke through prophets, and
Mhm.
I don't know how concerned the average Israelite would have been with the future king of descendant of David.
Well, what about the authors? I mean, like specifically the authors. Like, do you think they're writing it as like the same question as the New Testament ones? Like, do you think that the like the prophet books and like the Torah and the
Some of-
historical?
some of the
Mhm.
prophets seem to talk about a future king of Israel.
Like, do you? I know, but do you think like they sincerely thought that there was going to be a future king?
Yeah, that was their hope
Hmm. But then like, why do you think that? Why do you think that they would believe this? I guess.
because they already had previous stories that they had heard about David, that how God promised David that his kingship would last forever. So when they were living at a time when they were living during the time of evil kings or the time when there were no kings, there was a hope and
Hmm.
expectation for one day God would bring forth like a perfect king.
Hmm. Well, what about specifically David? Do you think he was being sincere, or do you think he was like?
I think that what we have about David is highly contested. That a lot of David stuff is like shrouded in myth and legend.
But you would agree he's a real historical figure, right?
Maybe, probably. We don't have a lot of
Hmm.
information.
Sure. What about the Torah? Do you think that's like made up, or do you think that's like
Not
also like
not definitely not written by Moses, and I don't think Moses existed.
interesting?
It can't be because it's got anachronisms in it.
Hmm. Um, I don't know. Like it's just like one of the things that like makes me interested in Christianity is like the the continuity like of the. It's just like how it's connected, like how they connected from like they connected from person to person to person, from like Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, and it's all connected. They all like refer to each other.
Well, they don't
So
all
it's
refer
like,
to each other. Like Abraham never
well,
refers
they
to
all,
anyone later on.
well, of
Now, of
course. I
course, you
mean, like,
got later authors refer back to previous authors because they had
yeah.
those works in their possession.
Hmm. But I guess what I'm saying is like, I just think that it wouldn't. I don't know. It wouldn't really. It would be kind of hard to say that these people like didn't didn't like think something was going on, or they would just blindly believe this stuff, you know? Like
People
this
would,
Um,
story that, well, yeah,
YouTube
but this
punk.
is a different, but this is a different thing because it's like a
Uh,
story
uh,
that's been going on for thousands of years, right?
not
yeah,
a
yeah.
story,
YouTube.
stories plural.
YouTube Punk
Right.
brought up an interesting study. He's a YouTube follower who's a mod for us, and brought up a landmark study following participants for about 10 years after 9/11. And they examined what these flashbulb memories were. And the memory like rapidly declined for the first year after that. And the only thing that seemed to support accurate memories were just news stories circulating about the event. So I don't hold that people can like over a long period of time, especially the length of time after Jesus, that they could accurately represent what occurred, and there's any reason for us to believe, because there are like this data point, things to suggest that even when it's this massive event, people fail to get the event correct. So I don't think that this is an excuse to believe that he resurrected, because people believe weird things all the time, especially under like emotional duress, like some very very like bereaved loved one that would have been Jesus.
Mm-hmm. But like I would argue that the case of Jesus is different from like Muhammad or something else, because this is describing somebody as like they physically see him rose
Oh, whoa,
from the
whoa,
dead. But
whoa. No. Paul never says anything about seeing Jesus physically rose from the dead. We have no writings
well,
from
not
Peter.
rose, not sorry, let me correct myself. Not that they saw him rose from the dead, but they saw the risen Jesus.
They saw Jesus appear to them in visions, but not physical. We have nothing from any eyewitness accounts saying anything about a physical Jesus. All we
Well,
have are
what
the
about
Gospels
John?
written by non-eyewitnesses.
Okay. Yeah, I was referring to the Gospels, but
We don't know who wrote those.
yeah. And then I would say that the early church does attribute it to these people.
Not until the late 2nd
Why
century
is
CE, and they don't tell us where they're getting this information from. It's weird that if Matthew is an eyewitness, why does he need to copy Mark?
Well, he doesn't copy it like every single thing. He just does some stuff like
he takes
some
whole
things. Because
he
Mark is
whole
the first.
sentences out of Mark to write his gospel. You don't
Well,
do
because
that if you're an
it's still
eyewitness.
it's still a true story. Like it's still like that part is true, and Mark is the first gospel. So
I don't think it's a true story. There's very little in the
well,
Gospels
I'm
that I
saying
think
in
Jesus
my
actually said or
well,
did, and
I
we definitely have no reason to think that Matthew wrote this work.
I also what's funny to me is that y'all make the claim that the Gospels were eyewitnesses. The Gospels don't make the claim that they're eyewitnesses. Luke just directly comes out and says that it's not. Like you're adding a claim that's never in the text, but the text never claims this.
well, it doesn't have to, again. That's kind of an argument from silence. It doesn't really have to claim that.
Well, no, if I have these texts that never say they're eyewitnesses, they don't write
Well,
in first person, all these manuscripts don't even have titles on them. It sounds like these are anonymous works written as stories and myths. They contradict each other, that sometimes they make up things about Jesus to make theological points, such as the author of John changing the day and time of Jesus' crucifixion to make him look as if he's the Lamb of God. This isn't all that reliable to me.
Yeah, the only one that comes the closest to claiming eyewitness is John, and we know that's the latest, which is strange that that's the only one that comes the closest, which by consensus is the latest gospel. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
yeah. Can I ask, why do you guys think that Jesus exists?
Because Paul mentions knowing his brother, and Josephus also mentions Jesus' brother.
It's a minimal historicity stance, and it is. I think that both mythicism is. I think it's valid. It's a valid criticism as well, but we just don't take that stance.
Why would you take those parts seriously, but not the other parts? Like, why would you say?
Because it's a mundane claim to say that a guy named Jesus, when there were tons of Jewish men named Jesus in the first century, existed.
And
It's
and
mundane.
Josephus is an and Josephus is an outside historian, so
Yeah, sure.
there's some corroboration as well.
But you would agree that there was like a figure named Jesus, like a specific person, Jesus.
Yep.
That is.
That the cult.
But I guess what I'm at.
Yeah.
But what I'm asking is, like, why do you think those bare minimum facts are enough to say that Jesus is a real person?
Because it's how does one know the brother of a person that doesn't exist?
Well, why can't you just say that that part is like is added in to make it seem like it's true?
What's the evidence for it?
You could say that the Gospels are. You could say that the resurrection is false, so therefore that the whole story is made up.
Nope, that's not what we're doing. This is a really bad attempt at playing the opposite side. Listen, this has been 47 minutes and we haven't gotten any bit closer to believing that Jesus is not dead. So I think we're going to move on. But Everett, try to call in another day.
All right, I'll see you guys later.
Have a nice day.
Real quick before we bring up Jordan, everyone, here's the good news I wanted to tell you guys. This shirt, I haven't been able to wear this shirt in 2 years. I've only ever, and for the last 2 years, I've only ever fit into an XL. Now I'm fitting into a large again. That was my good news. I'm very happy about it.
Yay!
Yeah.
I don't know, Dalton. You're getting some fans that are telling you how hot you are in the comment section too.
Someone just telling me that they want me to bite them.
Yes. I told them that I screenshot it and sent to you, and they were very happy about that.
Oh, great. All right. Jordan, welcome back to the show. Jordan is at least 18 years old. They go by he, him, and they're a believer. Jordan, what brings you back up?
Do you consider the Bible one book?
No.
Okay, so then wouldn't the New Testament be like pretty much 27 different books all testify? Like, you know, it's like Peter was like,
Peter
yo,
didn't write
I met Jesus, it's all legit. And then John was like,
No.
yo, I
Peter
also
did-
met Jesus.
Peter didn't write anything. John didn't write anything. The only out of
Who do you
all
think he wrote?
27 books of the New Testament, the only books that we have a confirmed author for are the 7 epistles of John. I mean, sorry, 7 epistles of Paul, the authentic epistles of Paul, and then the author of Revelation refers to themselves as John of Patmos.
Okay, so, but like, okay, so you don't think First John is written by John?
No,
Or you don't think First Peter is written by Peter?
no.
Okay, interesting. Who wrote it? You have no idea who wrote it.
We
I
have
mean,
we have no idea, and by we I mean scholars in the field of biblical academia don't know who wrote these works. Unlike the authentic epistles of Paul, where he literally signs his works.
okay, but still, it's a text
It is a text.
that is saying,
It is repeating dogmas and beliefs about that the Christians held in the late 1st century, early 2nd century.
okay, so you agreed that there's 27 books in the New Testament. So there's basically 27 different books that all testify.
That all talk about
Jesus
the
was-
dogmas of Jesus. Yeah, I think Jesus was a real person. I just don't think any of the magical stuff is true.
Well, I think it's just interesting to reframe it that way, because if you look at it, oh, there's just one. If you think there's just one book, it's
But
different
who-
than 27.
Why did you bring this up, though? I've never made the claim that it's one book. And the fact that it's got 27 different books, mostly by anonymous authors who just make theological statements.
I think he's confusing the fact that we like confirm Josephus as an historian, and there's a particular reason why we make this like a higher source, and it's because Josephus presents with skepticism. He provides information on where he's getting this information. He does a lot of things that early historians, while not perfect, did, and that's the thing that separates it. It is not just because he's making claims and lived a long time ago. It's how these claims were made and how he's backing up these claims.
Wait, First Peter says Peter, an apostle of Christ. First verse.
Oh, well, in that case, I'd have to look at the scholarship on that then. 2nd Peter definitely not
Yeah.
Peter, though, as it mentions ecclesiastical structures in its works that didn't exist until the late first
It says Second Peter also starts with Simon Peter.
Yeah, well, the reason why we know it's not written by Peter, by the historical Peter, is because it mentions ecclesiastical structures that didn't exist in the church until the late 1st century, and Peter had died in the 60s. Most scholars would place 2nd Peter in either the late 1st century or early 2nd century.
Okay, so I wonder, there might be other ones. Does James? Yeah, James signs his. James, a servant of God, of the Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, so James signs off, Peter signs off, and then you have Paul.
And most of the Paul,
So-
only 7
Huh?
of the Pauline epistles are authentically Paul. For the same reason, stylometric structure would tell us that different author for the other works. And again, the mention of clerical structures that didn't exist in Paul's time.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like a pretty solid case to me. You know, like it's pretty reasonable to believe it's true, in my opinion, because there's so many like.
So I guess
Jake-
the consensus of academics are just like wrong then.
Well, you're saying. I mean, I heard you say. Don't you talk about like contemporary? There's no contemporary sources.
There are no contemporary sources for Jesus. No,
Okay,
by contemporary we mean written while Jesus was alive. We have none.
Oh, so if they live with him and wrote after he was crucified, that doesn't count as contemporary?
Well, again, no, we don't know who wrote any of the Gospels.
Well, they tell you about it. Oh, yeah, the Gospels.
W.
Sure.
Darwin.
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying? I mean, really? So they lived and walked with Jesus, but since he was crucified,
Who
it's not
lived and walked with
contemporary.
Jesus? The authors of the Gospels? No, we don't have any reason to think that.
James and Peter.
Again, scholars would disagree with you as to the authentic nature of those works.
It's literally in the text, though.
If something is
I
written
thought
down, does
what's
that make it true?
Why did you point out that some of them are not signed with their name if you actually don't care if they're signed with their name at all?
Well, I also gave you the other thing that they have ecclesiastical structures within the works that did not exist when these people were alive.
But why did you bring up the fact that
That's one point.
why is it a point at all?
Because we
If
have
you don't
works
care.
with the names of authors that weren't written by you know that pseudepigrapha is a whole like category of literature within biblical studies, right? Like you don't think like Enoch wrote the book of Enoch, right?
No, but you're not answering my question.
I did answer your question just now.
So it's relevant that the letters are not signed with their name because
What like the Gospels aren't signed.
I was saying that like Peter wrote it, and then you said, "Oh, well, no, Peter didn't sign his name."
And then coupled with that, like for example, the epistles of John aren't signed. Coupled with that is again anachronistic elements and stylometry. All of these come together to tell us which works are authentic and which ones aren't authentic.
Can you just take the L, please?
You would really like
humble
that,
about
wouldn't
it.
you? But no.
I mean,
It's not an
you
L.
didn't think Peter signed it with his name. You tried to make a point with that.
That was really pathetic, Jordan.
Wait,
Please,
Dalton,
please take the L. Please.
Does Peter ever make the claim that he saw him in person?
The pseudo Peter does, and Second Peter at least tries. To
Yeah,
make that
I don't think even First Peter makes this claim either. So it wouldn't
Peter-
really matter.
Oh, let's read it. Peter, an apostle of Jesus Christ, to God's elect, exiles scattered around the blah 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 blah. So he's saying he's an apostle of Jesus.
No. Where does he say that he saw the risen Jesus?
Oh, I guess you're right. He doesn't explicitly say that. So
Yeah, so like
You just-
it wouldn't matter bringing that up when we're talking about the resurrection.
yeah, true.
Okay, so you concede, cool. So do you take the L now?
Yeah.
I just hope you guys get the money you guys want.
Jordan,
No,
could you?
I understand you guys
Jordan,
are
I don't
struggling.
get paid.
Jordan, could you be a little bit less pathetic? It would be great for the audience. It would make
Well, I think the
all of-
reason you guys
it would make all of us cringe a little bit less.
Jordan, I literally make zero money. I lose money on this because I take and support other atheist content creators, and I spend my own money on it. Every single cent that I get from these gifts and coins, which by the way, 1,000 is not anything, I give to other creators. So no, I have
Okay,
no.
so you're not cashing in, but a lot of people are.
Dalton. The only
This
reason Dalton
is
is
my
cashing
job.
in
This
is
is
because
my
it's his
job.
job, and he is
Yeah,
like.
and I think you guys deserve. I hope people support you because you clearly need the money, right? So
Yeah, because I
what
live in
a
a ca-
fucking weird dig.
I do live in a. You know what, Jordan? I will give you that. I do live in a capitalist society, and thus I do need to make money in order to buy food.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, fuck the Bible guy for paying his mom's bills and paying the electric bill and paying
that's
for.
not what I'm thinking. You should get more. Here, I'll donate to you right now, bro. I love helping the.
Fuck off. That was so fucking pathetic.
It was like trying to be like mean and then being like, well, no, I'm not really being mean. Like, that was so strange. Like, if you're gonna be an asshole, own it.
Yeah. Sad. Anyways, I'm thin and hot. How about you, Ash?
I mean, I guess I don't know. That's like I think that's an
Hell yeah.
outside perspective thing. People think so. Some people might not.
Here, I need to hear you. High five
here.
me. Fantastic. Oh my god. Okay, so it's been an hour. We're gonna do a quick restart so we can get some fresh opposition in here. I'll see you all in just a hot second. Let's see. Go live within the next few weeks. I'm sure. No sound detected. How's that for sound, TikTok? That was Jordan just wants to cheat death and become immortal. What a ludicrous belief. That's funny. Everyone, make sure you tap that screen. Hello, King Awoken. Hello, Velvet Worm. Hello, Angry Anti-Theist. Hello, one and all.
I just love that you are so desperate for money that when he went to go say he was going to give you money, you're like, nah, I don't even want it.
Yeah, I don't want your fucking money. Can you imagine if someone came to, like, if I was still working at Exxon, if someone came to me and go, God, you're just so fucking, like, needy for money. Like, yeah, you cunt. I need to make money so I can, like, you know, not die. Listen, Jordan, if Jordan wants to help me, like, start a communist country, fantastic. Shifting from losing to meta commentary, right? Big L for Jordan. Really like the circus ring leading vibe you just hit with the welcome all. Oh yeah. Welcome one and all to the Bible Guy show. Everyone, make sure you got your popcorn and your soda, and you'll see your vendors on either side. And don't worry, there's no animal cruelty here.
I'm cruel, and I'm an animal.
Oh.
Make sure that you're tapping that screen sharing out the live, reposting, and sending your daily heart me if you can. This helps boost the algorithm and gets us out so you can listen to some generally crazy conversations, but hopefully some good ones as well.
Is it true that Arwen found a place? I saw her story. There is a place that has been offered to her, and she may take it.
There's a place downtown where the freaks all come around. I'm sorry, I went to high school in the 2010s, so forgive me for that.
Speaking of like peepholes and whatnot, wait 1 second, I gotta answer this text. I do have a peephole now in my room. I'll tell you guys about that in just a second.
Yeah. Oh wait, you told me about this.
I did, yeah. So, guys, I got locked in my room this morning. I could not get out. My doorknob does not work, and I had to use a butter knife to get myself out of my bedroom. I had to take the butter knife and shift a little pin in the door, because no matter how much I turned it, could not get out. I was so loud that I actually woke up my mom trying to get out of my own bedroom. And so today I took a screwdriver and I took my doorknob off. So now it kind of just swings open if the dogs want to get in. And now there's a little peephole. Luckily, everyone in my family is smart enough to know that you do not go by Dalton's door and look in the peephole, because 9 times out of 10, I am naked in here. In .4c, are you at least 18 years of age? Arwen found a place in our hearts. You bet she did. Let's hopefully this person.
If
goes on.
you leave the screen, we cannot hear you. Yeah, you can't leave the screen, or we can't hear you. Just FYI. So if you
Oh,
like,
my bad. I was leaving a call.
In 4c, are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah,
And
I'm
what
born in 2005.
And what pronouns do you go by?
I go by he, him.
And are you a Christian?
Yeah, I'm an Orthodox Christian.
All right, I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. This is my friend Ashland. The Bible is bullshit. Christianity is false. Jesus is dead. Which one of these three topics would you like to talk to us about?
Can you can I ask you something?
Sure.
Can you disprove the apostolic succession?
No, can you prove that apostolic succession guarantees that from one generation to the next that the teachings would be perfectly preserved?
I mean, there's documentations and councils.
There's documentation that there's apostolic succession, like there's a
Yeah.
there's a chain of succession, but can you demonstrate that from one generation to the next that the chain of succession
Can I
would re-
demonstrate that from one generation to the next?
that the succession would result in like the teachings being accurately related from one generation to the next?
Like, can you explain?
So for example,
what do you
let's
mean by that?
say Peter has a successor, okay? The successor learns from Peter. That successor has a successor, learns from the previous successor. And from one generation to the next, they pass on the teachings. But what generally happens in these situations is that, one, because memory is faulty, the teachings don't get passed on perfectly. And two, because people are very creative, there's always innovation. So new things get added along the way to the dogma. So that over time, the religion slowly changes. Can you give me any reason to think that even if apostolic succession is true, that exactly, Edward Stillman, that the telephone game isn't going to be played here?
If the
I just want to say that I learned from my professor, and now I know exactly all of neuroscience perfectly. I basically have a PhD. Like, that's the claim that's being made here. Like, what? How?
if that would have been the case of it changing, then the Bible would have changed also, because if you see like Pope Leo, he also
The Bible has
The Bible did change.
the Bible has changed.
No, it didn't change.
Yeah, for example, are you familiar with the pericope adulterae, the story of the adulterous woman
No.
in John?
Nah.
You know, the Pharisees bring an adulterous woman to Jesus to have her stoned. Jesus says, "He who is without sin cast the first stone." That story.
The what? Say that again.
The Pharisees bring an adulterous woman to Jesus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
The oldest versions of the Gospel of John don't have that story. It was added in later in the 5th century.
Well, have you seen the D?
Have I seen the what?
The D?
The D?
Yeah.
I
You know
have,
what
in
that
fact, seen the D.
What do you mean by the D?
These nuts in your face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew that was coming.
No,
That's
he
why I
didn't even.
answered
He didn't even.
yes.
He didn't even do it right. He said D,
No,
not
he didn't.
D's.
Yeah.
That was lame.
I have seen the D, though, for everyone asking. My virgin eyes have seen them.
I've also seen at least one D. Well, I've seen 2 D's, my own and my ex's.
You've seen you watch porn.
Oh yeah,
You've
that's
seen
right.
many Ds.
I've seen lots of D's. That is true, actually. Yeah. Zuru, are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah.
What was that?
Dalton Levi Pyron?
Nope. Don't. That's not my last name. But I can see that your intention is at least to attempt to and to fail to dox me. So that does earn a block, Ashlyn, if you will.
Yes.
But you failed. To quote, what's his fucking name? Dickless Light. Yeah, nice try, bud. Nice try.
Sorry,
but
my
no
my
cigar.
thing froze up. My
Yeah.
thingy froze up.
My thingy sometimes freezes up too. You know, pressure is a bitch. Yeah.
It really is. It really is.
Jizz God 420. I don't have a lot of confidence that this person isn't going to be a troll. Are you at least 18 years old?
Yo, you're such a
Oh, hey, sorry, we didn't hear that. What was that? You keep breaking up. Oh, they disappeared.
I blocked them.
Yeah, they didn't even get to say. I was quick on it. I would clap. There we go. It took me fucking 5 minutes to send a message. I'm so bad with my ADHD. What's with the Christians trying to dox everyone lately? Oh, peg the patriarchy. It's really quite easy. They suck at defending their faith, so all they have left to do is the attempt to like dox people. Yeah, it is really quite pathetic. It's like it's the death throes of Christianity, is what it is. That tracks. It does track. Yeah. Everyone, make sure you're tapping that screen, and if you're on YouTube, make sure you're sending them super chats. Remember that this show isn't possible without viewers like you. Thank you. That's why I had to change my name, said Saint Brianna. Like, you actually changed your name, like in real life. W. They try to dox or get Dalton's live flagged. That is the only thing that they can do, because they don't have good arguments. What's
funny is I know Dalton's real name. Haha. I'm the only cool person here.
Well, no, there's someone else here that, I mean, unless they're not here right now, but there's at least one other person that is a regular on the lives that is also friends with me on Facebook.
Okay.
But yeah, you've known the longest of anyone here.
See, I'm the coolest.
First in the club.
It's Duncan, isn't it?
It's Duncan. Yeah, it's Dalton Duncan. Double
the
D's.
The first rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. I can't talk about it.
Yeah. I don't do Facebook. I get it. Dalton's real name is Dalzone. Dalzone, like calzone. Yeah, listen, I get it. If it wasn't for the fact that well, I don't know why I still do Facebook, probably because my family's still on there. All right, David Turnbow. David. Oh wait, weren't you a troll?
Never mind.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Look at that. They didn't even get that much in. Man, very pathetic. Very pathetic of Christians. OMG, I love calzones. I haven't had a good calzone in like 3 years. Not since I stopped working at the restaurant.
You can come up to where I live and get a good calzone.
How many cows do you have in your calzones? I have a calzone right behind my house.
A momentous amount.
Oh, hey, go ahead and block David Turnbow, by the way, in the comment section, because they just, every time they come up, they just do that bit. King E, are you at least 18?
Hey, how's it going, Bible guy?
How you doing? Are you at least 18?
100%.
And what pronouns do you go by?
Oh, man, come on, man. You gotta ask me that.
What pronouns do you go by?
Okay, man, we're already starting off on the internet.
Is English difficult for you?
I mean, it's not difficult, but that type of question is kind of silly.
It's not. It's a litmus test, and you're failing hard. So, what are your pronouns?
It's a litmus test. I'm failing hard. I think I passed it, but
no, you didn't.
Call me whatever you want, man. Call me King E.
Nope.
You don't want to call me that? You don't respect my name? You don't respect me then?
I didn't ask for your. If I asked you for your name, King E would have been an acceptable answer, but I didn't ask for your name, did I? What pronouns do you go by? We don't move forward until you tell me.
Such a silly little thing, but I ain't gonna say it, man, because it's a silly question.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah. Auto shows.
Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish not.
Yeah, go ahead and block them.
For you. So, I'll remember how you said.
It's done. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're gonna troll like that, practice your singing.
Yeah, at least get good. Anyways. Are there any Christians out there who aren't pathetic? Who would like to come up and have a conversation with us? That'd be fantastic. I don't have...
while we're here, make sure you're tapping, sharing, reposting, and sending your daily heart me to boost the algorithm. Feed the algorithm.
Guys, I'm less Christian today than I was at the beginning of this conversation. Every Christian who calls in who acts like that pushes me further into atheism. So, you know, you're all, and you also push my audience further into atheism. So congratulations on being an evangelist for atheism.
Yeah, only good singing, please. It's only funny if it's good.
Yeah, it's only funny if it's good. Okay, well, I gotta bring this person up, so let's, like, you know, be vigilant, and if they start, you know.
Hey, Jen.
Rhett, are you at least 18 years old? I'm gonna put it to where the audience can't hear them. Rhett, are you at least 18?
Yes, sir.
And what pronouns do you go by?
I am a he, him. Thank you very much.
All right. And are you a Christian?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. This is Ashland. The Bible is bullshit. Christianity is false. Jesus is dead. Which one of these series would you like to talk to us about?
Really, kind of any of them. Honestly, I mean, my main question. Well, my main question is just kind of what is keeping you from believing?
That I don't have any reason to think that God exists.
Well, what is your reasoning for thinking he doesn't exist?
The fact that no one's giving me a reason to think he does exist.
That's fair enough. I know for me personally, I have a lot of hardship that's gone on in my family. So my personal reason is I have seen bonds broken by human desire and then brought back together for seemingly no reason.
That's nifty. Why should I believe in God?
Hold on. Isn't human connection also a human desire?
It is, but it's also directed by God.
But I have human connections and I don't have God.
Wait, so bonds broken, human desire, brought together, human desire. So all of it's a human desire.
So there are a lot of human desires in the world. Yes, really, anything you could.
So it's insignificant, basically. They're both human desires.
So as I was trying to say, the example I'm talking about is bonds completely broken by a human decision, such as alcohol abuse or something along those lines. That later that
they're all human decisions. Like, what? This is insignificant.
Why should I think that any of this has to do with God?
If you'll let me get there, I think you might. That could help a little bit. Then, seemingly that person, for no reason whatsoever, has a complete change of heart and turns their life over to Christ.
Can you demonstrate that there was no reason whatsoever?
Yeah, by talking to the person.
Well, just because they don't know the reason doesn't mean that there isn't a reason.
Okay, then where'd the reason come from?
That's an argument from ignorance. I don't know, therefore God. That's literally an argument from ignorance fallacy.
That's not of ignorance. That's actually...
It is ignorance. It's like, I don't know what spurred on this decision, therefore it must have been God. That's an argument from ignorance.
That's correct. That's not an argument from ignorance.
No, that is by definition what an argument from ignorance is.
So, what I take that as is, how do you... Well, everything has to come from something.
Yep.
That's a scientific proof.
Everything has a cause and effect. Yep.
We cannot physically understand where God comes from, or what his reasoning is, because he is divine. He is
that's
way beyond.
That's begging the question. You can't even demonstrate that he exists. Asking like where he comes from is a non sequitur. It's like it's not important if he doesn't exist.
Okay, so you're wanting worldly examples.
I'm wanting anything that raises the likelihood that the proposition God is real is true.
So, with looking at it in a worldly standpoint, I would like to explain this situation to me.
Well, no, I won't. I'm not going to engage in arguments from ignorance.
It wouldn't. Hold on. Let's just go through. Is it a naturalistic occurrence? And I'm assuming you're not going to talk about anything supernatural. People coming back together, even if you had 100 and you had like 150 examples of odd or unlikely naturalistic occurrences of things happening, you would first have to eliminate all naturalistic explanations prior to going forth to an unnatural or supernatural explanation. So you saying this is an odd circumstances or whatever else it is, you have to eliminate the naturalistic ones, and that's not happened.
Well, if you talk to the two people that were involved in the situation, then you will be able to figure out there is no naturalistic cause anywhere
No, that's again okay.
whatsoever.
Again, you're engaging in an argument from ignorance.
Okay,
I
so
don't
then you want me
know,
to go-
therefore it must be God, is an argument from ignorance.
Okay.
That's like saying I don't know how the pyramids were built, therefore it must have been aliens. No, it's an argument from ignorance.
There's actually a lot of things that prove how they could have been built on that argument. So,
But people who don't know, they make that argument, and you're
Then they
doing the
do.
same thing. I don't know what could have spurred this decision in them, therefore it must have been God.
Brett, have you had any education in psychology?
in psychology, not specifically, but I'm a 30.
Have they had any education in psychology?
Why does their education in psychology have anything to do with how
Because you're saying it's a supernatural explanation, but having zero expertise or training on a subject that would directly pertain to psychology.
So I'm not 100% sure.
So you
What
have
do
not
you mean
ruled
by that,
out
honestly?
you have not ruled out all natural explanations.
Then give me one natural explanation.
No,
I don't know. I don't know the circumstance.
Yeah, right. Here's the problem. We have zero evidence of the supernatural. I have an abundance of evidence for nature. Therefore, if there's a party where the explanation for like unknown phenomenon get invited to the party, the supernatural doesn't get invited to the party because I don't even know that it exists.
So you're looking at it from the perspective of there's no way it can be this thing because you don't think that thing exists.
That's not what we're saying.
Yeah,
It's not at all what we're saying.
It could possibly be a supernatural, but it's like not up for consideration because as far as I know, it doesn't exist. I would need to think that the supernatural exists before I consider it as an option for the origin of some sort of phenomenon.
So what I said was correct, that you do not feel that it has any possibility of being supernatural because you
Oh
don't.
my fucking god, no!
They're really bad at listening.
Well, no, that's what you
That's not what I
just-
said. No.
Then say it again because I guess I'm not understanding then.
Yeah, it's quite possible that there could be a supernatural out there that could be like responsible for things, but I don't currently have any evidence of a supernatural existing. Therefore, it's not even up for consideration as being like an explanation for anything.
Okay. I'm sorry, I did not understand that first. So then let's look at it. Same person with a slightly different situation. Well, not slightly different. They were in a terrible accident.
Are we going to end up? The question is this end up going to be? I don't know how this could possibly be. Therefore, God.
No, it's not. It's medical terminology here.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, hold on just a second. So, there was a terrible motorcycle accident. Medically speaking, what was given to us in the police report and stated on the medical records and everything was a negative 2% chance of surviving.
That's not a thing in medicine.
It was. And I can go get the things that say it is.
Yeah, show us where in the medical records, without please doxing anyone, that they said that it was a negative 2%. Percents are out of a whole, not
Exactly.
negatives. So if that is the case,
The percentage
then
on
that
the paper-
doctor needs to be fired.
Well, the percentage on the paper was zero.
And also like
Was there is less than 0% chance of surviving that because
that's not a thing.
that is what we were told.
How do you? Wait.
So
wait,
that's
wait,
fine.
wait.
Negative percentages don't exist. They're not real.
How do you like? For example, I'll have a glass of water, and let's say I have like the glass is 50% full of water. What does it mean for the glass to be negative 5% of water?
To me, that means there's no access to water to fill that.
No, that would just be 0%.
That's what I said. There was the paper
No, what's
said
n-
0%.
what's negative 5% of water?
Okay, so now you're taking what I said out of context, which you just got mad at me for doing when I didn't understand.
You can't have a negative percentage of a thing. That's incoherent. You were either lied to or your doctor was a dumbass. But medically speaking, that's not possible.
I'm not saying it is medically possible. I'm telling you what was relayed to us.
Okay, well, I don't know who relayed this to you, but negative percentages aren't a thing. They're just not one.
Yeah, I know that. I've gone through college classes in high school with a 4.0 GPA, which is the highest achievement.
So that didn't raise a red flag to you and before you brought this story up to us.
No, it did, but you guys are dwelling on the small facts.
It's a relatively important detail in this story that either confirms or denies the aspects of the story's validity, which it's starting to sound like the story lacks validity.
Okay, so let me finish the story then before you conclude that it's invalid.
Maybe you should just give us what you consider to be the best argument for your God's existence, because this is not doing very well.
Because you're cutting me off before I can finish anything, and then you're taking small aspects of what I've said.
I'd just rather not have you waste your time and just give us the best argument for your God's existence.
All right, 2 very large instances then. First instance, situation I was just talking about. Motorcycle accident, to keep you happy, 0% chance of survival.
Could you give us a non-anecdotal piece of verifiable evidence for your God's existence? Not a personal testimony. No one's interested in personal testimony.
Actually, there's a lot of people interested in personal testimony.
No one, okay, here, let me make this very clear. No one on the Bible Guide channel cares about personal testimony.
So then you're inconsiderate.
Of your personal testimony? Yes.
You're inconsiderate of the fact that
I do not give any consideration to your personal testimony.
Rhett, are you Muslim?
No, I'm not.
Why not? They have tons of personal testimony.
Correct. I have not gone through and personally looked into the Muslim specifications. I am non-denominational.
Okay.
So,
but they have tons of testimony, I'm telling you now.
I'm not saying they don't. I know people that are Muslim.
And what about people that claim that they aren't lying when they're lying and they have their own personal testimony to not lying?
Then you can pull out holes in the story, which are normally very prominent.
Oh, so small facts are important.
Yeah.
No, they're not normally small facts.
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
they
generally are. That's what a hole in a story is.
Let's just skip the bullshit. Do you have any non-anecdotal, non-testimonial evidence for God's existence? Something that I can independently go and verify for myself.
Yeah, so let's look at your your third point, I guess. I'm sorry. That Jesus is dead.
Yeah. Human beings don't live to be 2,000 years old. Jesus was a human that lived 2,000 years ago. Therefore, Jesus is dead.
Okay, can we go look at the historical and scientific evidence that he's not?
Okay, wait. I'd be interested. What is the scientific evidence that Jesus isn't dead?
So, I don't know if you're aware of this, but archaeology is a branch of a scientific, side of professions.
What archaeological data supports the fact that Jesus is not dead?
DNA.
DNA?
That were on the claws that were found in his tomb.
The Shroud of Turin.
What tomb?
It's not. It was not found in a tomb.
We don't even know where Jesus is. There's 3 tombs just in the Middle East. Actually 4.
I didn't. Rhett, do we have a DNA sample of Jesus to compare this to?
No, but it's not.
How do you think DNA? How do you think that we determine DNA as someone's?
Okay, how many people in this world have half as much?
Oh, they're going to say they have half the amount of chromosomes?
Yes, he does. And
provide us the scientific paper that confirms this.
I do not have it right in front of me, but I have read it more than once.
No, you've heard this from Christians and stuff and pastors, but there's zero scientific evidence of blood that was ever discovered with only like half the chromosomes.
There actually is, and I did that
There
research
isn't.
for.
Let's see if I can find something. Just a quick search. I'll use Cloud to try to find this paper.
Red, I have personally gone into great lengths and detail to look at data that were from the Shroud. I've looked at the studies. No, absolutely not. There was no blood on the Shroud, by the way.
Okay, so just from the fact right now that you guys have cussed many times, and I'm not exactly.
We are adults. We don't.
I would run too if I was losing as hard as you.
Yeah, this is an adult wouldn't give a fuck about whether or not I'm cussing. You're not a 5-year-old. You're not. You won't get cooties or some sort of disease from hearing me cuss, and you don't have to cuss yourself. And there's nothing wrong with cussing. It's just words.
But it's a sign of.
Is there a difference between the word? It's not. It's really not. It really isn't.
I cuss all the fucking time at a bunch of different people, and it just adds emphasis to words. That's how it's used.
Which means
it doesn't mean that I'm
go to extreme lengths to get your point across because what you're saying.
It's not extreme.
That's not extreme.
There's nothing extreme about a 4-letter word.
So if you did have that sociology degree that you're.
Anyways,
I have a degree in psychology, but listening isn't clearly one of your skills.
I got here. No, there is no verified evidence of this. The claim originates entirely from one source and has been thoroughly debunked. Here's a clear breakdown. The story comes from Ron Wyatt. Shocker. Ron Wyatt, what was he? Nurse as anesthetician or whatever the fuck he was.
CRNA, a certified registered nurse anesthetist.
Yeah, who claimed to have found Jesus' blood on the Ark of the Covenant. According to him, testing showed the blood had 24 chromosomes, 23 from Mary and 1 Y chromosome from the Holy Spirit. Yeah. Bullshit. Lenny, are you
Good
at least
afternoon,
18?
sir.
Are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, sir.
And what pronouns do you go by?
Just he, him. Male.
And all right. And are you a Christian?
Yes, sir. Coptic Orthodox Christian. Coptic just means like Egyptian.
Yeah. I'm Dalton the Bible guy. Which one of the 3 points on the board would you like to talk to us about?
I'm gonna be honest here. Well, this is not completely off topic, but if you don't mind, I'd just like to make a statement about your belief, atheism.
Atheism's not a belief.
Stance, position, whatever it's referred to.
Yeah, I just don't believe you is my stance.
I'm gonna be honest, and this is not to insult you whatsoever or to discourage you from doing this.
Well, that's very
but
reassuring.
I don't think this live will ever produce something meaningful in terms of
Tell that to my mother, whose bills I pay, and tell that to my friend Arwen, who I've actually Arwen, who lost her home in a fire, and we've raised up $16,000 for her to get her home back for her and her child. Tell that to all the people that call in all the time and tell me, "Oh my gosh, you've helped me deconstruct from all these harmful beliefs. You do so much to help me."
Tell that to the friends that I've made on this live, that now we connect and call each other when we're having difficult times. Tell that to the people that we build a community, not just on this live, but Justin's live, and we're all connected because I run a Discord and we do fundraisers for a ton of different people to help them when maybe they don't have a car, they fall behind on utility bills. We do this stuff all the time. So, bullshit. You may not think so.
I love that this was instead of actually talking about anything of substance, you wanted to try to detract us from doing the work that we do. But it's not going to work. I'm going to keep talking about the Bible and the harmful beliefs of Christianity. So, you have something more important to say, or was that just it?
I'm sorry, sir. That might have come across the wrong way. What I meant was productive in terms of will someone actually be able to convince you or show concrete evidence of God's existence?
If they had good arguments, but sadly Christians don't.
All I ask, and I know you have no real motivation or reason to do this, but all I ask is that if you ever find yourself in the future in a position where you might be doubting yourself whether or not God's existence is true or not, all I ask is if the Bible is real in terms of what it's actually saying,
Mm-hmm.
that verse about, oh, asking you shall receive, all I ask is that you
Did that.
ask and...
Already did that.
Sorry, you can finish.
Ex-Christian here. Already did that.
I'm an ex-Christian too, Lenny.
I understand, but all I ask is...
Lenny,
asking-
I got baptized when I was 22 years old. When I actually, prior to that, didn't really believe. I was Buddhist. And when I was down on my luck, and because my brother had taken his own life and he was extremely Christian,
I'm sorry to hear that.
I turned back to it. It did absolutely nothing for me. I don't ever remember like truly believing, but I tried my damnedest.
I'm
Didn't
very
do
sorry to hear
anything.
that.
And I'm not even going to sit here and tell everybody that the Christian community has never done anything for me, because they absolutely have, because that's what communities do. But I don't attest that to God. I attest that to the fact that human beings are social creatures, and community is something that absolutely is meaningful, and the individuals who are able to build that have better outcomes. It has nothing to do with God. There is no way to present that evidence, at least thus far. If you have some sort of, then go ahead and present it. But you sitting up here and trying to lecture us, because you're going to claim probably otherwise, but that is what you are doing. And it's not helpful either. So, hypocrite by nature.
I apologize if it came off the wrong way.
It's not about coming off. You can't just say that you're not doing something and then do the thing.
Then I apologize for misspeaking or being rude.
I wouldn't necessarily say that it's rude. Maybe some people might have a different opinion. I don't think that it's necessarily rude. I'm just here to say that what you're doing is the exact same thing that you're telling us that we're not doing.
Well, I don't know if you have actually prayed and asked God.
Disrespectful, I think, is probably... I don't know about rude, but yeah. Sorry, I apologize.
All I ask is that I understand if you don't have your reasons or your motivations to do this, since it seems that you've made up your mind on whether God exists or not. But all I ask...
I'm open to evidence, but dude, the thing you're asking me to do, already did it.
Okay, I understand. Enjoy your day.
Like, we're literally sitting up here having conversations and opening to anyone that does for hours upon hours a day, looking for evidence. What more do you want us to do?
Well, as long as if you've asked God if he can reveal himself, then that's enough for me.
Yep.
Here, I'll do it right now. I'll do it right this second. Dear God, please reveal yourself to me. Not in that way, though. But
Yeah, and I prayed that prayer a lot when I was Catholic. Nothing happened.
I appreciate your time.
Hey, Lenny, I just want to just point out something really quick. So I asked God that, but then my family, my Christian family, tried to prove that I was demon possessed and didn't have anaphylaxis.
Well, they were probably in the wrong. I don't know why they would say something like that.
They're non-denominational pastors. They spread the message. They preach God's love. They just think that sickness doesn't exist and it's all demons.
There are definitely some
really,
shady
who's
Christians
doing-
out there, is all I'll say.
They're what?
Is all I'll say. Like, there are definitely, like, some shady Christians out there, as in, like, they're not teaching the right things.
Well, there's 45,000 different variations of Christianity. How are you going to pick which one is right and which one is wrong?
It's a long and difficult process.
Lenny, can I be like brutally honest with you?
Yes.
You sound young and naive. And I don't mean that from a like, oh, you're dumb. I absolutely do not think you're dumb. There is a separation though. You sound, how old are you again?
I'm 19 years old.
Yeah. So you have, I've over a decade of life experience. than you, and so AK, so does Dalton. We've been through this for quite some time, and you coming up here and being like, but have you really tried? You don't have any motivation for it. We had plenty of fucking motivation to be Christian. I'm the only non-Christian in my entire family. In fact, I didn't even really understand what an atheist community was until I got on TikTok, and that was like 2 years ago. I had no one who felt the same way that I did. I had absolutely all the motivation in the world to be Christian because it was a predominant belief system around me, and I had conversations with people who were just appalled when I said I didn't believe.
I do respect you have more experience in life, and I do respect that. And what I meant by like no longer having any more motivation, I meant in the present tense. If you do have motivation, then that's great. But
that's the thing, is you're assuming that because we're atheists,
it was an
and we don't
assumption.
hold on. You're assuming that because we don't follow a God that we can't be good people. And you're not even pausing to realize the community that we have here is full of good people. You don't have to be a Christian to be a good person. In fact, most of the Christians I know are terrible people. Most of the people who I know that don't follow religion give the most to charities. They give their time to charities. They go and protest, and they don't vote to eliminate people's rights because of their religion. And this is what your religion is doing, is removing rights. It's causing harm.
No,
You're
I agree on you
unaliving
in certain aspects. There are Christians out there that are not good people. You could have amazing morals but have no relationship with God. You could have horrible morals and
Well, I think that
at
they
least
proved
believe.
that. I think that the lady proved that during COVID when she called every church asking for baby formula. And I think there was
That are not good.
one church. It was one church that said yes, but the other ones were mosques and the Temple of Satan. And those were all churches throughout America. So you're saying that all the churches that aren't willing to help people who are not in their congregation would be bad people.
Well, we should always try to help each other out.
You just totally ignored everything I just said before that, though.
Can you repeat what you said?
So during COVID, it was proved there was a lady who called hundreds of churches in America asking for baby formula. Every one of those churches, with the exception of one tiny church, Christian church, said no. All the other establishments that said yes were mosques and the Temple of Satan. That is going to show that if you do not follow their God, because the first question they asked are you a member of this church? So if you're not a member of their church or their congregation, they're not going to help you. That's not the message of Christ.
I
That
believe
was
they
not
should
the
have helped
teaching.
you. Absolutely.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that's not the precedence that all of the churches in America have.
I understand. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time.
All right. Well, Lenny, have a wonderful day. Next time, come with an argument for God.
Enjoy your day.
Hi, Icky.
Hi, AK.
Hello.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me up.
Just an FYI though, I don't tend to use that as evidence because I would argue like methodology problems with that TikToker.
Yeah.
No, they're not saying the same things. There's a lot
Yeah,
of
they're
variables
not.
that are unaccounted for. So I don't typically use that, but I do think that the entire message is very clear that the church is supposed to help, and it would seem that they aren't. I would think it would be interesting if she had and worked with someone and did it with
It's a study.
yeah, like it would be interesting because I do believe that I would hypothesize that the same results would be true, but I just can't say that with certainty.
Facts. No, 100% agree. Because it's the way that it's run is not, a good.
Yeah,
it can't be repeated. Like she was changing it up. It's hard to repeat it.
Yeah.
And she went in with an intention also. You
Yeah.
have to go in with no intention for sure.
Yeah.
Agreed. Well, I just want to say hello, everybody. And if you need me to drop, you can drop me. If you want me to stay, I can stay. Up to you.
You're more than welcome to hang out with us. We got someone coming up. Period. They only come once a month. But we'll see. If they actually do come, or if I'm just this is just a that Holy Spirit Wi-Fi. It ain't coming through. It's once every 28 days. All right. Listen. Love the kitty cat. Hello, period. Are you at least 18 years old? Hello?
This is it's the problem is this is just a relatively like good period where there's not a lot of symptoms to it, so
And
It's a light flow.
it was a
It's
very
a light
light
flow.
flow. It was here 1 minute, gone the next. Got that thing plugged up. Good. All right, let's see. I welcome menopause at this point, says Chris Cross. Menopause sucks. My mother is going through menopause right now, and it is rough. It is rough. But everyone, make sure you're tapping that screen, share the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends, and with your enemies. Bay Junker, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, sir.
And what pronouns do you go by?
He, they, them, him.
And are you a Christian?
Yes.
All right, I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. The Bible is bullshit. Christianity is false. Jesus is dead. Which one of these three topics would you like to talk to me about?
All right. One by one. I guess Christianity is false.
Yeah, the reason I say Christianity is false is because the central claim of the New Testament is that Jesus is the Christ / Messiah, and yet he doesn't fulfill he didn't fulfill even one prophecy about the Messiah from the Old Testament.
Gotcha. So you don't refute that this was historically a man and did die under Pontius Pilate?
No, I don't refute that.
Okay, perfect. This is okay. Gotcha. I think that's a great place to start. That just tells me that you're at least versed on the topic, and that this isn't going to be a waste of our time. So for the claim of the Christ, why? Tell me what messianic prophecies he didn't fulfill.
I'll just name just three, and then we'll have you name one that he did. He didn't bring world peace, Isaiah chapter 2. He didn't build the temple, Zechariah 6, Isaiah and Ezekiel 41. He didn't usher in the lost sheep of the house of Israel back to the Holy Land and establish the monarchy of Israel.
Okay. So I'm going to go with one, and then I'm going to touch on those. So whenever we look back in Isaiah and we look at the prophecy of the sour wine and the lance in the side and the all these things that describe Jesus's crucifixion, what do you make of that? And I haven't been watching up to this, so if you've already touched on this,
there is no prophecy in Isaiah about sour wine in a lance.
There's not?
No.
Here.
Just FYI, if you leave the screen, we cannot hear you. In case you don't realize that, yeah. So if you scroll away, you can definitely look at something, but when you're away from the app, we can't hear.
Okay, gotcha. Well, what's the ground rules for that? Am I allowed to look away for a quick second?
I think you're mistaking Isaiah for the Psalms here.
You can look away, but if you're gone for more than 5 minutes, it will drop you.
Okay,
it's shorter than that in my experience. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would click away and then come back and click away and come back and but try not to do that for so long for the audience's sake. It shouldn't be that you're learning this argument now. It should be supplementary That's all kind of all that we ask, because if you're doing like all the research right now, this conversation is
Sure.
going to be productive.
Yeah. So it's
I
Psalms.
got
It's
that.
it's actually what you're referencing to is, so in the Gospels, they give Jesus some sour wine, and then John says that this was a fulfillment of prophecy, and the prophecy he quotes from is Psalm chapter 69, verse 21. They gave me poison for food, and for my thirst they gave me vinegar to drink. The problem is that if you read this psalm in its entirety, it's for David first and foremost, and it says about this person in verse 5, "Oh God, you know my folly. The wrongs I have done are not hidden from you." So this can't be about Jesus if you want to maintain that Jesus was sinless.
What about him being he was pierced and that he was crushed for our transgressions, and it goes on to describe the death of an innocent, but it's the death of a criminal.
That's Isaiah 53, and it's not the death of the criminal. He's buried with criminals. But before we can talk about Isaiah 53, I have to give you a quiz. I give the same quiz, the one question to everyone before we read Isaiah 53. And the quiz is, I want you to tell me the difference between these two sentences. Sentence 1, I went to the store, versus sentence 2, I shall go to the store.
Okay. So the going would be future tense, the went would be past.
And when we go to Isaiah 53 and we read about the suffering of this individual, what tenses are being employed?
He was crushed for the transgressions.
Which would tell
But
me
it does say that he was, right?
Yeah, which would mean from the perspective of the author, when did the suffering take place? In the future or in the past?
I think it could be let me think about that. Yeah, I'll be honest, I've never touched on this argument, and specifically here in Isaiah, just with the past tense. But here, let me circle back to that. I want to touch on the other points that are on the feed. Or no, sorry. You were talking about the prophecies. So what's your interpretation on like in the New Testament, like the believers or the church, they're considered the temple, and God's indwelling, in his spirit. And so the tearing down of the temple and the being brought up again, because you have this whole throughout like the New Testament, or specifically like in the Gospels, you have this kind of like upside down kingdom idea, where God is like flipping up the old ways, to bring in the new ways. And he's like, how does that like play in? Because like I feel like that would perfectly describe what the language would imply in those, from a New Testament Nicene Christian's point of view.
This is a calming tactic amongst people who, when prophecy doesn't go the way the prophets say it would go, the way it would go, what you have to do is you have to spiritualize the prophecies. So, for example, the prophecies say the Messiah will build a temple, and the temple it says he will build is a physical temple. But, like, for example, in the 1990s, there was a man named Menachem Mendel Schneerson who was, some Jewish people thought he was the Messiah. He didn't build a temple, but they said that when he established his synagogue at 770 Eastern Parkway, that was actually a spiritual fulfillment of that prophecy. But Ezekiel tells us explicitly, and in Ezekiel chapters 40 onwards, he gives us a description of that future temple, and it's physical. It has width, depth. It has Levitical priests that function in it with specific sacrifices. The spiritualizing of the temple into being the believers is a cope on the part of, like, when prophecy fails to be fulfilled.
So, okay, I hear your argument. So I would honestly argue that Jesus's coming was literally the spiritualizing of the law. It was literally the spirit, you know, is trading the divine for the flesh, the infinite for the finite. And you literally looking at the Sermon on the Mount, and I think his language is very clear, is that he is speaking beyond like our expectation or our, you know, presumptions, whether they're cultural or,
Amos,
you know.
Amos 3:8 says that the Lord God does nothing without first revealing it to his servants, the prophets. I cannot believe that this is what the Messiah's intention was if it's not shown in the Hebrew Bible.
How is it not revealed in the Hebrew Bible?
Nowhere in the Hebrew Bible does it ever say the Messiah will be God who comes down in human flesh, and that he will do all the things that Jesus did. In fact, everything the Messiah was supposed to do, the exact opposite happened in the days of Jesus.
Okay, there's nowhere in Scripture that it necessarily like explicitly states that Christ is this, like, is that something that you're implying? Because it feels like you're saying that
I'm
the
saying
text heavily implies that.
If I want to believe that someone is the Messiah, they have to do the things that the Messiah was supposed to do. Like, he's supposed to fulfill prophecy, and yet nothing that Jesus did was prophesied in the Old Testament.
Just sorry to refresh my memory, I'm a bit of an airhead. Can you bring up the three prophecies? I know that we talked on the temple, and we talked on what I said about the piercing of the transgressions. What was the other two?
You're supposed to bring world peace. Like, nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. That Israel would dwell in security and safety in his time, which they didn't. And that he would gather in the lost sheep of the house of Israel and reestablish the monarchy of Israel in the Holy Land.
Well, again, I feel like that's what Christ, that's essentially what that was. It was him going and going for the Israel to release it.
Did the Jewish people live in safety and security during the time of Jesus?
I mean, Jesus didn't actually claim that he was there to. I mean, he literally said that there was going to be division.
That's what the prophets said would happen, though, in the days of the Messiah.
At the same time, though, like, you know, we have the whole promise of, you know, him, you know, the coming again and ushering in the new kingdom, you know, and it talks about Israel being set on high, you know, and, you know, I feel like all that language, you know, like everything that he's saying, I feel like that encompasses the promises of the prophets.
No, it says that the nations would become the slaves of Israel, and everyone would travel to the city of Jerusalem to worship God and practice the Feast of Sukkot. That's never happened.
Well, like I said, there's that promise that Israel will rule, Christ will come and establish his kingdom. And again, I feel like that
does that
sufficiently.
But that hasn't happened.
Right, but that's because it's the promise, it's the future tense.
You can just say the same thing about any failed Messiah. Menachem Mendel Schneerson died? Well, guess what? He'll do all the other stuff when he returns. In fact, there are members of Chabad who believe that.
The thing is, though, I don't feel like the way that, you know, the revelation has unfolded is contrary to the Jewish, you know, air quote, Jewish God, the Old Testament God.
What is the New Testament?
Hold on.
I can give you an exact.
I just wanted to finish on the point. Old Testament God, you can see over and over again, there's this concept of faith for righteousness, this, you know, obedience in faith, and what's it called? There's over and over again, you have God, you know, saying my ways are higher than your ways. So I feel like God fulfilling these promises in the way that he deemed necessary, you know, or, you know, however it worked out up there.
What's the New Testament's position on the Levitical priesthood?
The Levitical priesthood, that the are you talking about like the Levitical law and like practices, ceremonial, and, you know,
the Levitical priests with their many sacrifices?
Well, that Christ's blood being shed on the cross would have nullified because.
And what did the Old Testament say about the Levitical priesthood in the future?
What specifically are you quoting?
Jeremiah 33, verse 14 through 16. The days are surely coming. Actually, let me go. Actually, it's in verse 17. For thus says the Lord God, David shall never lack a man to sit on the throne of Israel, of the house of Israel, and the Levitical priest shall never lack a man in my presence to offer burnt offerings, to make grain offerings, and to make sacrifices for all time.
It refers to Christ as the priest after the order of Melchizedek.
Which is not the Levitical priesthood, right?
Well, I'm saying that it talks about the superior priest.
But Jeremiah says that the Levitical priesthood would be the one that would function forever. So who should I believe, Jeremiah the prophet or the anonymous author of the book of Hebrews?
I mean, you're presenting like, good questions, but I feel like with what we're talking about the way that the language, the way that scholars for the past like 2 millennia, I guess not 2 millennia, but realistically the last 1500 years or so have understood Orthodox Christianity is that all of the language that's used within the New Testament and Old Testament sufficiently express the God's plan for salvation, God's plan for...
I get that is the claim, but the prophet Jeremiah just said explicitly, and the Levitical priests shall never lack a man in my presence to offer burnt offerings and to make grain offerings and to make sacrifices, plural, for all time. Not just until the Messiah showed up. All time.
Well, there's it says that Jesus' sacrifice is forever making those holy that are covered by it.
So who should I believe, Hebrews or Jeremiah?
I think that you should absolutely, like, as critical as you are right now, I wish Christians handled their faith with as much skepticism as you do. I
wouldn't wish that if I were you, because that's what made me into an atheist.
Really, what's your if this isn't too off topic, I do have to go here in a second, but I'm curious, what's your religious background?
I started off Protestant evangelical, went to Catholicism for a while, left Christianity for Judaism when I found out Jesus wasn't the Messiah, and then when I applied the same amount of skepticism to the Hebrew Bible as I did to the New Testament, I became a deist for like a week, and then was an atheist.
Gotcha. See, I actually went backwards. I went into really studying like the occult and the esoteric and stuff from being a deist, and eventually became a Christian after looking into Abrahamic religions and Orthodox religion.
So,
but
I have here the prophet telling me that the Levitical priesthood specifically would function for all time. Why shouldn't I believe him?
I think that God, like, I mean, if God is the one that, ratifies the covenant. I mean, if he's the one that instated the covenant, I think God is able to amend, certain aspects of the covenant, especially.
Did God lie when he said that the Levitical priesthood would last for all time?
I think that it's more nuanced than that. I really haven't researched into the topic, so I'm not gonna like make a declarative statement here on a subject that I haven't looked into.
Well, I know even if I thought that your God existed, I could never be a Christian because it just outright contradicts God's word in the Old Testament.
I gotcha. Well, I got to return a phone call, but I appreciated the opportunity to reason with you and come on here, and you have a good rest of your day.
You too. Guys, I just found out last night, I looked at my schedule for the line. I'm scheduled to work almost every single Saturday of the upcoming month. That's like super consistent work from them.
Yay for work, boo for weekend work.
For me, it's not work.
Oh, well, sweet.
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever had a job that I actually like love going to work. So, like,
sorry, I stepped away.
Oh yeah, I was just telling my audience here that I got for the whole upcoming month, I work almost every single Saturday for the line.
Oh, AK, do you have a YouTube that like
I
you
do.
like a
I have
channel
a
that you?
YouTube, but I never post on it. I need
Okay.
to start doing it.
YouTube Punk. The blonde individual in question is AK. I know. I don't think with Dalton's stream he doesn't have the names, but for everyone on YouTube, this is AK. AK is amazing. I don't know. AK, do you want to say a little bit about yourself for a second for the YouTube stream?
No, I'm AK. I do have a YouTube. It's the same name. I never post on it. Live in Alaska. Used to be a Christian. My dad is a pastor, non-denominational. I left the faith, and hello.
I don't know why the names don't appear on y'all's boxes. Because I go into other lives and I see names on boxes, but for some reason, not when I go live.
Yes, I am the moose person.
I was just saying.
I do have Helga. I do have Helga the moose. A lot of people have seen a lot of my videos with Helga. That is me.
We got a super chat here at Unity Chaser with the $2. Y'all, we gotta send Duncan some super chats. Hey, Unity Chaser. Much appreciated. This episode is brought by Unity Chaser today. Much appreciated. Let's see. No one can force an atheist to like what you believe, so a debate would be pointless. A debate would only be pointless if you have no good arguments for your faith. I think by you saying the debate is pointless, you are basically conceding that you don't have any good arguments. I can't argue with 9 people. Just read Sermon on the Mount, learn about Christ's atonement. Read Sermon on the Mount. It's got bullshit in it. Learn about the atonement. It's immoral as fuck.
AK, do you want Armad, YouTube Punk, to share your TikTok? With the okay, yes, please. Do you need me to send it to you, YouTube? Yeah, you can answer me in the DM.
Yeah, the funny thing is that the atonement of Jesus in the New Testament is like one of the most heinous things about the New Testament, and actually contradicts the Old Testament, where God explicitly says that those who condemn the righteous and those who excuse the wicked are both alike an abomination to the Lord. And yet the central theme of Christianity is that the wicked are atoned for and the righteous are punished. Every time I see the name Alwyn, every time I see you, Alwyn, I always think that you're Arwen. Linda loves Donald J. Trump. Ugh. Linda.
Hello.
I'm going to ignore your bad taste in men. Are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I am.
And what pronouns do you go by?
What's a pronoun?
A pronoun is a word that replaces the noun in a sentence in order to avoid repetition. Words like he and him, she and her, they and them.
Oh, it's what all you liberals made up. Sorry, you hear my kids in the background.
There are pronouns in the Bible. Did liberals write the Bible?
No, the Bible was written by my one and only true God.
Okay, so your God's a liberal.
No.
Your God said, I am he. He is a pronoun, so your God's a liberal.
Okay, my God supports Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump does not use pronouns.
This is a troll.
Yeah, you're a troll. Because you're either a troll or you're just the dumbest fucking person I've ever had the displeasure of listening to. Either way, I'm good. Ain't no fucking way. It's a character. Listen, I can't tell the difference, guys, because like Trump supporters do just sound that stupid. Hey, bud, what's up?
What's up, man? I'll get down if you can't have any more friendlies up.
Well,
I didn't know this was a friendly.
Oh yeah, a friendly. I just don't, there's no one else who wants
I
to come
go
up
to Quality's
besides.
lives a lot. Like that's where you know.
It's just that there's no Christians who are brave enough to come up, so it's all I have are friendlies, and also that dumb person that keeps trying to pretend to be a MAGA person. At Scott Duke with the $1.99. Please tell Ashland and AK to post some YouTube vids. Y'all heard it here first. They want to see videos.
I have
I
a
will-
full-time job, y'all.
I've been lazy. I'll be honest. I will start going harder with my YouTube. I promise.
Also, I'm just not that great at editing. I've tried editing videos. The only one that's ever gotten like close to 100K views was just because it was the older millennial getting tased. And the content that I typically do are like reproductions because I'm just not proficient in any of that technology.
Guys, I
But
I almost posted a video of me last night singing karaoke to I Can't Stop Falling in Love with You from Elvis, and it was so bad, in my opinion, that I did not post it, and I'm not going to post it.
I'm upset that you didn't post it.
Accusing others of being angry is a way for you to dismiss. That's why you do it. That's why Christians do that. Exactly. Older millennial lies a lot too. Oh yeah, he's just the biggest fucking liar that ever did exist. Someone said don't go to Alaska because of 30 Days of Night, the movie. I agree. Terrifying.
But and also, guys, I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't know why I'm here. It's probably just because I'm friends with Alden. I don't have that much knowledge on the text, and psychology is kind of not a subject that I post a lot about. There are a lot of ethical concerns as well, so that would be the field that I would. And I'm just not a PhD. I'm not even a master's level, so I just don't feel that I have a lot to contribute as far as that goes.
You're my friend.
I is your friend.
You know that did you see that picture I posted today?
No.
It said like when it says when my mod sees someone being weird in the comment section, it's from the water boy of him looking in the window and her Vicky with the.
Did I send that to you? I thought I sent it to everybody I mod for.
Oh yeah, it's in the Vicky in the window's got the sign that says, "You want me to kill them for you?" He's like, no. Default Horse says, I appreciate your perspective, Ashlyn. You add plenty to the lives. There you go.
Thank you. I think I'm pretty good at I'm decent at debating. I wouldn't say that I was good or anything. But I do catch some things.
You are so freaking smart and you are beautiful. Don't you limit yourself like that. You're a baddie.
Okay. AK said it, so I have to accept it.
There you go. Phantom Rick says, I like to point out the absurdity of the details in Christianity. Me too. It is absurd from beginning to end. Rot Talk says, why do you say Jesus is dead? Yeah, I have a simple syllogism. 2 premises and a conclusion. Premise number 1, humans don't live to be 2,000 years old. Premise number 2, Jesus was a human that lived 2,000 years ago. Conclusion, Jesus is dead. It's really simple. Apollo, are you at least 18 years old?
Would you like to fuck me?
No.
How much are you offering? Sorry. Sorry.
Jesus.
The thing is, I
In this economy,
because of how long it took them to answer.
You can't deny anything.
The audience didn't get to hear any of that because I have a setting on TikTok where I can make it to where no one can hear anyone on the panel. So he answered. He took too long to answer, so I just turned it off. So, guys, he asked if I would fuck him.
Listen, I'm not that desperate.
Hi, how are you doing?
Jacob, are you at least 18?
Yes, I am.
And what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
All right. And are you a Christian?
Yes, I am.
All right. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Which one of the 3 points on the board would you like to discuss with me?
I just disagree with the flag you got there.
Oh, well, no one cares.
I do care.
Well, no one here cares.
Y'all are sinners.
I don't care. Yay, sin.
The Bible.
W sin, everyone. Everyone, let us know how much butt sex you've had recently.
I just want to just say that I don't stone women for lying about their virginity. So and that would be a sin. So I'm glad that I don't do this.
Neither do
I also do not make women lose an arm if they protect their partner and
Neither do
accidentally
I.
grab another dude's junk when trying to defend their man. I
Oh,
wouldn't cut off
Neither
her
do
arm.
I.
Then you're a bad Christian.
I'm also glad
not, I'm a good
that
Christian.
my fellow servicemen members, at least for the most part, didn't
I
go
try.
to war and take young women, possibly underage, and hold them as their captive, pare their nails, shave their heads, and discard their captain guards, and go into them, possibly unwillingly, and basically
people
rape them.
did that in the
Jacob,
past, it
Jacob,
doesn't.
Jacob, do you eat hot dogs perchance?
I do.
All right. Do you know what God says about that in the Bible?
I do not, because at that time people weren't eating hot dogs. We didn't have hot dogs
What are hot dogs made out of, bud?
Sausage.
Which is
Lips
made
and
out.
asshole?
Which is made up.
It can be made of pork and
Pork. Good boy. What does God say about eating pork?
he says not to eat it.
He
But
calls it an abomination. So you're just as guilty as someone who's engaging in butt sex. You like a wiener. They like a wiener. They're both abominations in the eye of God. Just for different.
so it doesn't like make God bad. It makes me bad.
Yeah, you suck ass. Just to be clear, everyone, he loves wieners. He loves wieners. Jacob loves wieners. Hashtag Jacob love. I want to see it in the comment section. Hashtag Jacob loves wieners. At Game Guy with the $5, I believe that Trump supporters believe he's God. You got to be pretty gullible to vote for that turd twice. It is concerning how close they do, in fact, get to deifying the man. Love that. I love that in the comment section. People are totally going for it. Oh man,
Jacob slurps him down.
Yeah, three.
That's what Poop Man Jones said.
Yeah, they actually voted for him. Three. Actually, Game Guy. Satanist Taylor has a good point. These turds voted for that turd 3 times. They just, he just failed the second time. Y'all childish. Well, says the man.
I like
the Costco.
I like
He's
to
going
preserve.
for the Costco size wieners.
I like to preserve some of my childish nature, but not believing in fairy tales. I do discard that one.
Yeah, Jacob, the irony of calling this childhood while also you having an imaginary friend as an adult is wild. So Blue
You mean
Traveler,
Jack and the Beanstalk isn't real?
I'm afraid not. Blues Traveler, are you at least 18 years old? I feel like we're going to get a bunch of meta. Are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah, I'm 44.
And what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And are you a Christian?
Yes, I am.
Alrighty then, I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. Which one of the 3 talking points on the board would you like to discuss with me?
Christianity is false.
All right, the reason why Christianity is false is twofold. One, the New Testament claims that Jesus is the Messiah, yet he didn't fulfill a single prophecy from the Old Testament. And 2, no Christian's ever given me a good reason to think that their God exists.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You're wrong. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it.
You don't have any counterpoints?
No, I just really just wanted to say that, what you're doing is not helpful or beneficial to humanity.
Here, watch this. That's what I think about what you just said.
That's what I think about what you say too.
Hey, Blues. It is the case that when we look at Christianity, do you know how many states still affirm underage marriage and many of which you have senators or representatives that use the Bible to say that that's okay?
Also, underage is defined by.
Oh.
Also,
hold on, AK. AK, let him finish.
Yeah, what was that you were about to say, Blue?
Go ahead, Blue.
I was going to say underage as defined by each state. My parents were very young.
Do you think there's anything wrong with a grown ass man having sex with a 16-year-old?
Well, my parents did it. That's why I'm here. So.
Do you think there's anything wrong if you found out that a friend of yours who is the same age as you was having sex with a 16-year-old? Would you be okay with it?
It totally depends on what the age of consent was.
Nope.
Do you think a minor can consent?
A minor can consent?
Do you think a minor can consent?
If they're of the age of accountability and the age of reason, then and the state laws.
Just for people, that's disgusting. Just for people who don't know this, they have been doing studies into the brain, and a lot of people think that the brain, your frontal cortex, fully develops at the age of 25, but they're actually finding that even with people who are non-neurotypical, it's not developing into their 30s, mid to late 30s. So that's
to quote,
that's because their average is AK. Yeah.
To quote Sloth over here in the comment section, hands over your drinks, everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. I personally hold the stance that we shouldn't allow like certain addictive substances to be used by anyone under the age of 25, and that's just because we can't we need a certain baseline, and the average typically is 25. But like these substances alter the brain. Relationships with individuals alter the brain. Like a lot of things that you do alter the brain. And to have this type of decision making as far as the prefrontal cortex goes, you can't have an accurate assessment on risk
Blue
until
Traveler
that
says, so you want to go beyond the law?
Because we made up the fucking law. We made it up.
Guess what? In World War II in Germany, it was perfectly legal for you to kill fucking Jewish people. The law
It was
isn't
slavery
always
was
good.
legal. Slavery was legal.
Yeah, the
At
law
one point
isn't
in
always
time.
right.
marital grape was allowed in all 50 states until the 1990s.
Yeah,
That's
so
not okay.
just because something's legal doesn't mean it's moral, you jackass. So it's immoral for a grown-ass man to have sex with a 16-year-old. Not because of the law, but because it is immoral. Because of the psychology and the power differences.
Yeah, it's legal in 33 states, by the way. Oklahoma surprised us this year, but still 33 states, some with no legal minimum for marriage to minors.
Well, and Blue
Yeah, they
Traveler,
actually-
Blue Traveler says that he thinks homosexual is immoral. Well, guess what, Blue Traveler? No one gives a shit what a pedophile has to think. So go fuck yourself.
Also, they just this year, Ashland, many states voted to keep child marriage active. Quite a few of them, which is even scarier.
Yeah, unless you can represent why it's immoral, and at least generally that's going to be done around harm. It's amoral. Homosexuality is amoral. It's without any moral consideration, because as long as it's done by two consenting adults who are not generally, we look at Fry's, right? The Fry's model, because it can happen in any relationship when we have consent.
Blues Traveler, I know you don't understand the concept of consent. You know what? Here, Blues Traveler, I'm not going to hit decline anymore, but I'm also not going to hit accept. So you can just sit your ass in my request box, you piece of shit, fuck face. And yeah, that's right. Go away. Yeah, I'm not bringing you up. Gene. Welcome back, Gene.
Oh, hello.
What do you got to say to us today, Gene?
It was about your issue with Jeremiah 33 and the Levitical priesthood.
Yeah, do you agree or disagree with Jeremiah?
I agree with Jeremiah, but clearly, obviously, the Jews were grafted out and we were grafted in.
But
so we take their place as a kingdom of priests.
But do you have a Levitical priesthood or do you have a Melchizedek priesthood?
Well, the Levitical priests are priests in the... What do you mean by that?
There are two priesthoods presented to us in the book of Hebrews. The Levitical priesthood, which comes to us from Aaron, and the Melchizedek priesthood, which is headed up by Jesus. Which priesthood is said to function kol hayomim, for all time, in the book of Jeremiah?
Okay, so there will... Because when I was reading specifically what it said for 33, it said that there will never be a person to do the Levitical priesthood.
They will never lack. Velo kohanim halevim lo yikret ish midlapini. There shall never lack a Levitical priest to before my face to offer me'ala, olah, ketir, mincha, ve'osa zivach kohamim, who to offer burnt offerings, to offer cereal offerings, and to do sacrifices for all time.
Yeah, so we'd be grafted into that role.
Well, no, you don't have Levitical priests. You have a Melchizedek priesthood. It says,
Jesus is the Levitical priest.
No, he's Melchizedek priesthood, which supersedes and replaces the Levitical priesthood according to Hebrews.
Well, that's who Jesus is.
Did you not read the book of Hebrews?
Wait, does the Hebrews say we're all in the order of Melchizedek, or Jesus is?
Jesus is the high priest.
Because I know about
Jesus is the high priest of the Melchizedek priesthood. High priest would mean that there are other priests. That would be the rest of the Christians. You're all Melchizedek priests. But Jeremiah says it is the Kohanim HaLevim, the Levitical priesthood, which is what the book of Hebrews says is replaced and done away with.
Yeah, so I can understand the specificity of what you're claiming, but my understanding is like when the Gentiles come in, they're grafted into the roles that the 12 tribes played.
I don't care because it doesn't say that, Jeremiah doesn't say that the Melchizedek priesthood will offer up the sacrifice of Jesus for all time. It says that the Levitical priesthood will offer up the burnt offerings, the cereal offerings, and the sacrifices for all time. Levitical priesthood. Y'all don't have a Levitical priesthood in your religion.
So I mean, obviously right now we don't do that, right? But I'm talking about like and when it gets to Revelation, I get wishy-washy, but there's like specifically 12 seats available in Revelation for the 12 tribes, right? That get
Do
filled.
you have a Levitical priesthood that offers up multiple different kinds of sacrifices?
No, but he's obviously talking about eternity.
And what does the book of Hebrews teach explicitly about the Levitical priesthood?
That it will always exist?
No. That it's done away with.
In 33?
In the book of Hebrews.
Oh, Hebrews. Okay.
It teaches that the Levitical priesthood is done away with.
Yeah, on earth, but Jeremiah's prophesying about
on earth. Where does Jeremiah say that the Levitical priesthood will be in heaven?
We'll see. We'll never lack. Let me go back and read it again. I'm going to go off the app.
Dalton, you can just pull it up, right?
Yeah, I got it pulled up right now. Let's take a look
on the screen.
Oh yeah. Let me pull it up.
Thank you.
For thus says the Lord, David shall never lack a man to sit on the throne of the house of Israel, and the Levitical priest shall never lack a man in my presence to offer burnt offerings, to make grain offerings, and to make sacrifices for all time.
So the way that I interpret that, obviously at some point, I mean right now, there's no one sitting on the throne of David, right? If we were talking about on earth.
Yeah, this is prophecies. Right? That's because I understand that prophecies do in fact fail.
No, but this is talking about the throne for David it's talking about what Christ is sitting on in heaven.
No, throne of David's not in heaven.
In Revelation.
When David was sitting on his throne, was he in heaven?
No.
No, so the throne of David isn't in heaven.
But he's sitting at whose right hand, right?
No, I didn't ask where he was sitting, but is he sitting on the throne of David? And the throne of David is on earth.
I personally dispute that the throne of David is purely on earth. I think it's specifically meant to be established in heaven.
Show me where it says that the throne of David is in heaven in the Hebrew Bible.
I don't know the specific psalm. Everyone always talks about this. I said to the
sit at my right hand till I make your enemies a footstool for your feet. But
The Lord said to my Lord, right?
yeah, that's David sits at the right hand of God. Did David ever actually sit at God's right hand literally?
No.
So obviously it's a psalm.
Oh,
Psalms
I
are
mean, that's an interesting
poetry.
question, but okay. I can see why then you would reject it. Do you not at all see my interpretation?
Nope.
Okay, that's fair. Like I say, I'm pretty sure it's specifically talking about, like, again, if you're going to claim prophecies can fail, then obviously the prophecy failed. But I don't believe prophecies failed. And if it's talking about David is
obviously-
constantly going to have a throne,
It's very obvious that prophecies fail. There are some prophecies that are so obviously have failed because they can never come to pass now.
oh, I mean, I keep conceding. I don't want to concede. I want to say that we have a disagreement. So I want to leave it at a disagreement at this point. But what is one you're talking about?
Isaiah 52 verse 1. Written as the Jewish people are about to leave the exile in Babylon, God says to the Jewish people, "Awake, awake, put on your strength, O Zion, put on your beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city, for the uncircumcised and the unclean shall enter you no more." Did the uncircumcised and the unclean ever enter into the Jewish people after they were released from their exile in Babylon?
Of course, yes, many times.
So that failed.
Okay, I'm gonna need to know the context of that, because whenever I think when you read prophecy,
The context
like
is
there
that
is like
this is a section of
eschatological
Isaiah
prophecy.
this is a
Yeah,
section of
go on.
Isaiah that was written while the Jewish people were about to leave Babylon and head back to the Holy Land, because King Cyrus had made a declaration that the Jewish people could return back to their Holy Land. And the prophet is speaking to those people, saying that the uncircumcised and the unclean shall enter you no more.
Wait, 52 is right before 53. And obviously that's talking about the Messiah coming.
No. Isaiah 53 is not about the
Sorry. I mean, in my context. So I'm trying to understand, because I don't, like I say, I've tried to read through Isaiah. It's very hard, but
Yeah, when you start with when you start with certain presuppositions and dogmas, it does make the book of Isaiah very difficult to read.
no, it's not even. I'm just trying to understand what the actual thing is saying, because it's referencing so many different places.
You'll never be able to do
And-
it so long as you keep holding on to your dogmas.
Now, even if I didn't have a dogma, I don't know where Babylon or Assyria, or I don't know these things, so it's a very difficult book. But I need to look closer at 52. Can we actually, well, you're telling me the context. You're saying that it's specifically saying you're coming back into, it's
Yeah.
prophesying that they will be coming back into Israel and no one will be.
This whole section of Isaiah is all about the return of the exiles from Babylon, which is why in verse 10 it tells you, actually we just, shake yourself from the dust, rise up, O captive Jerusalem. Loose the bonds from your neck, O captive daughter of Zion. It's talking about their captivity in the exile. For thus says the Lord, you were sold for nothing, and you shall be redeemed without money. For thus says the Lord God, long ago my people went down into Egypt to reside there as aliens. The Assyrian too has oppressed them without cause. So he's mentioning two of their former oppressors, and now their oppressor is Babylon. Now, therefore, what I am doing here, says the Lord, seeing that my people are taken away without cause, their rulers howl, says the Lord, and continually all day long my name is despised. Therefore my people shall know my name. On that day they shall know that it is I who speak, it is I. How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of the messenger who announces peace, who brings good news, who announces salvation, who says to Zion, your God reigns. Listen, your sentinels lift up their voices. Together they shout for joy, for in plain sight they see the return of the Lord to Zion. Break forth, shout together for joy, you ruins of Jerusalem. For the Lord has comforted his people, he has redeemed Jerusalem. The Lord has bared his holy arm before the eyes of all the nations. All the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our God. Depart, depart, go out from there. Touch no unclean thing. Go out from the midst of it. Purify yourselves, you who carry the vessels of the Lord, referring to carrying back the vessels that were taken from the temple back to the Holy Land. For you shall not go out in haste, and you shall not go out in flight, but the Lord will go before you, and the God of Israel will be your rear guard. This is all about them returning from the exile.
I have a question. I mean, obviously, personally, I already dispute this, but I know that you know more than I do. So when it says the return of the Lord to Jerusalem, there was a verse you read that said that.
Yeah, it's referring to the fact that God went into the exile with the people of Israel, and when the people of Israel returned to Jerusalem, that's the Lord returning to Zion, because the temple is going to be rebuilt, which is the dwelling place of God.
Right, but they clearly, like, the Lord, we never see after he leaves in Ezekiel, I believe. When he leaves in Ezekiel, you don't see the glory come back
That's
at any
because
point until Jesus.
Again, this is just the author telling you what he hopes for.
Okay. Like, so I would interpret it as when it says the Lord returns, that doesn't happen when they rebuild the temple.
Yeah, because
so I don't think that means that it's talking about them returning.
God was never there to begin with.
Okay, so that's a presupposition, but
yeah,
I think I think I can understand your argument. I would definitely interpret that from the way you read it. It can't be talking about them returning to the land, because the Lord doesn't return to the land until Jesus comes, at least if you accept the way that it's depicted.
That's completely out of the context for the entire passage. Why would it jump forward 600 years later, when the entire section of 2nd Isaiah is all about the return of the exiles from Babylon?
Well, yeah, I mean, to me, when it's talking about how no Gentile no uncircumcised or something like that is going to invade them, that's talking about the new creation. But again,
it doesn't say that. You're inserting things into the text that aren't there.
That's the only way that that's possible.
No, it's not. Mine is far more possible.
That is just wrong.
Yours is you only think that yours is the only way it's possible because you have this dogma that keeps you from assessing the data.
No, I mean, I think I raised what do you call it, like a logical or actual dispute with your interpretation about the Lord returning to.
There's nothing illogical.
The temple.
No, there's nothing illogical about my interpretation.
No, I understand that. I'm saying
because the prophet says God's going to return to the temple doesn't mean that it's true.
No, but if God does return to the temple, it's going to be, in my opinion, I know you believe that, or yes, you believe that, but in my opinion, when God returns to the temple, that's Jesus.
It seems like the only reason you think
this is about.
Looks like the only reason you have to jump to that conclusion is because you start with the presupposition that prophecy cannot fail and that the Bible is divinely inspired. I don't start with that presupposition, so I read the Bible in its original context and language, and I just read it for what it plainly says.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, like, what are these, in your opinion, what are these prophecies at all? Like, what are the people doing?
They're returning from the exile.
Literally
chapter
in general.
Literally chapter 45 of Isaiah is all about leaving Babylon and rebuilding the city and the temple.
Mm-hmm. No, okay. Like I say, I'm interpreting this from my frame, and I concede that you have more understanding of the book than I do, so you're probably correct. But I'm asking specifically, when the Bible has prophecy in it, what do you believe that is? It's just kind of someone who makes stuff up?
It's the prophets relating what they hope.
Okay. Do you see any prophecies, not about Jesus, but any prophecies that do get fulfilled?
Only ones that are prophecy ex evento.
That's a very fancy word. I know what that means, but could you explain to the other people?
Means that the prophecy is written after the events that it prophesies take place. Daniel,
okay.
The book of Daniel was written in the 2nd century BCE, and it writes about things in the past as if they are prophecies of the future.
Yikes! So they're incredibly dishonest people.
But they have an agenda. They have an agenda. They wrote the book of Daniel in order to rally the troops for the Maccabean revolt. Very obvious it's very obvious to anyone who's like familiar with like the literature. It would be like if you found a book that claimed to be written by Dwight L. Moody, and yet it gets all the politics from Dwight L. Moody's time wrong, but it gets all the politics that are closer to your time period right. It contains slang terms from the later time period that they wouldn't use in the time of Dwight L. Moody, and then also it also gets things wrong after Bush's time.
Gene, were you giving sarcasm when you said that you knew what that meant?
Yeah, I literally was like laughing as I said that. Yeah, it was a joke.
Okay.
But if you found a book from Dwight that claimed to be written by Dwight L. Moody that had these things in it, what would you think? If it had slang from your time period that didn't exist in his time,
Right.
if it had prophecies that ended up getting all the way right until it gets to the time of Bush and then they go wrong, and then also it gets the politics from the time period of Dwight L. Moody wrong, what would you think about this text?
Right, that would seem to be written in the current day.
Yeah, and then the author of Daniel uses Greek loanwords in the text from the Hellenistic period. It describes the politics of Daniel's time wrong, and then on top of that, it gets the death of Antiochus Epiphanes wrong.
Wait, if it's written during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes, then that's 2nd BC.
Yeah,
right?
it's written right. It's written prior. It's written while Antiochus is still alive and prior to his death.
Oh, but
so it gets all of the stuff leading right up to Antiochus right, but as soon as it gets to the part describing his death, it gets it wrong.
That's interesting. Why would he get wrong the thing it's rich? Well, I mean,
because it was written prior to his death.
Oh, because it's prophesying his death. Okay, that's what you're saying. That's Daniel. You're saying I'll need to look into this because that's very interesting. That's the whole of Daniel, or
Daniel 11, the King of the North and the King of the South section, which is about the Syrian wars.
That's another insane book, but okay, I'm gonna see if I can try and figure that out. Okay, I think those are good points, and I still have absolutely nothing for the Quirinius. What's the guy's name?
Quirinius.
Quirinius. Absolutely nothing for that as well. So those are kind of big problems, but I mean, yeah, okay. Thank you very much. I will look into those again.
All right, Gene.
I'll take that L.
You have a wonderful day, Gene, and big respect to you.
All right. See you in a bit.
I appreciate the honesty. We don't get a lot of it. Secret Collector. Are you at least 18 years old?
Hello?
That's a no.
Fetus.
Yeetus the fetus. I asked them, are they at least 18 years old? Do they think that they don't realize how obvious it is? When I was that age, I thought my voice was a lot deeper than it really was too.
The ways is like ow.
Hello. Yeah. Hello. Goodbye.
I'm a real boy.
Oh, Jovan's messaging.
Stop
me.
it.
Still want to do a guest lecture in my Discord on potentially July 17th. Oh my God. I'd have to work my ass off to make an actual, okay, wait a minute. I need more details. How long do the lectures go for? Do I need to make a slideshow, etc.?
I love a good PowerPoint. I get so excited making PowerPoints.
I have to do lectures in college. I can help you.
Yeah, I have to learn how to make PowerPoint.
I can help you. I had to do it for when I worked in organ and tissue donation all the time. I can help you.
I had to do it in psychopharmacology. So They're not that hard. They seem more difficult than they actually are. I promise you.
Once
Yeah.
you get it down, you can create a PowerPoint in like under 30 minutes once you get used to it. Like you can
Yeah.
they go
You
fast.
have the information. It's just like, how do I get that information into like a simple system, so you don't like give all the details in PowerPoints. You just like list something, and then it's what you're going to expound upon in the lecture.
Can I get back to you on this by next Saturday? Yeah, it says like it had to be like an hour long. I don't know if I can talk about any topic for like an hour long. Road Talk. Jesus doesn't love me because he's dead. Nice try.
You could if you open it also to questions. I don't know if they have the ability for people to ask questions, because that can also take up a lot of time of Q&A.
Yeah. Emmett, are you at least 18 years old? Oh wait, we've already spoken before. Welcome
Yeah,
back.
we spoke. I just had a
Emmett.
quick question.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier that every prophecy in the Hebrew Bible occurs post occurrence of the event, correct?
No. Daniel does.
Oh, so you do agree so you believe that some prophecies in the Hebrew Bible might, outside of Daniel, which is not even a book, who's not even a prophet in the Tanakh, he's in the Kesuvim writings, for those who don't speak Hebrew. So you do believe that some prophecies in the Hebrew Bible were true?
Were true? I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Okay, well, I have one that I would want to propose that I think was at least predicted before the event.
Which one?
In Yeshayahu Sheni, the prediction of Cyrus emancipating the Jews, because that happens in 538. While the scholarly,
Are you familiar with when people think that this section of Isaiah was written?
yes, somewhere around 560 to 550 BCE.
Yeah, when Cyrus was alive.
Sure, but if Cyrus first emancipated the Jews in 538, I mean, that still is predicting, even before it occurred, that it was going to happen by Cyrus.
I wouldn't really give it all that much credence. I think that at the best, the author already has some inkling that Cyrus is going to release the Jewish people, or that this is written as a way of like speaking to Cyrus, because it seems like the author is speaking directly to Cyrus, saying that God has done this great thing for you and you will be the one who releases his people. If anything, this could have had an influence on Cyrus.
You think Cyrus would have received or had access to the book of, I guess, second Yeshayahu Sheni?
Well, before it's written down, it's spoken.
What do you mean?
Like the prophet speaks to Isaiah, and then the scribe writes down what the prophet writes.
Right, but how would Cyrus get access to this proclamation?
The person would give it to him directly.
So you think whoever wrote, I'll just use English because Second Isaiah, whoever wrote Second Isaiah, you think they were in a position to be like, hey, Cyrus, this is about you. Look at what the scroll says.
No, what scroll? No, the person would proclaim something to King Cyrus, and then his scribe would write down later what the prophet proclaimed to Cyrus.
Right. So, okay, I think I'm a little confused, but I'm trying to understand you correctly, just so we're on the same page here. So you think that?
Emmett, also just take a breath. You're speaking very quickly.
Sorry, I'm a New Yorker. That's just the way I speak.
I'm from New York as well.
Nice. So again, correct me if I'm. So the prophet, because the historic Isaiah was long dead for second Isaiah. We agree on that.
Yes.
Okay, so the author of First Isaiah, which may or may not have been the historic Isaiah, let's just for the sake of argument assume it was, is long dead by around 2 centuries. We agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay, so the author of Second Isaiah, or whoever prophet is using Isaiah's name, you believe, or you are arguing that they were in a position to write this down, and then someone presented this to Cyrus, who in turn... Okay. So that's where I'm confused.
No, the prophet goes to Cyrus, proclaims something to him. The prophet scribe writes down what the prophet says to Cyrus. It's not like the book gets written first, and then the book is presented to Cyrus. No, it's the prophet just proclaims to Cyrus, and then it gets written down.
So is it not possible then that that the prophet, not the prophet scribe of Second Isaiah, the prophet was predicting this, or
He's proclaiming.
trying to have it done, let's say 15 years or 10 years before 538?
Yeah, he proclaims to Cyrus what God has told him, and this could have well had an influence on Cyrus if he thinks like this prophet is speaking on behalf of this deity and saying this deity is saying that this is like this deity says they have gone before you, they have grasped you by the hand, that they will level the mountains and break into pieces the doors of bronze, and he's like puffing him up, and then says
Right.
that you will be the one who releases our people, glazing
Right. So I don't
glazing King Cyrus so that he would go on to release them.
glazing all the way in the 6th century. I love it. I don't disagree with that hypothesis. I think that's very possible. But let's grant that's true. Technically speaking, it's still a prediction that came true. So it wouldn't be still technically be a correct prophecy.
I mean, if you really, in the most naturalistic way, if you're really that desperate for it, then sure.
I mean,
mean, I think
in that same way, Emmett, I'm a prophet.
I mean, agree to disagree on that one.
Like,
Well, I've made predictions that came true.
Yeah. When the weatherman tells us what the weather's going to be and it's right, are they a prophet?
No, they're using what's it called? They're using meteorology.
They use some sort of naturalistic way of knowing what's going to happen, and in this case, it's just a person who's puffing up a person of great power, telling them what they're going to do and influencing that person to perform that action. And it's like
Or he could have just known some like basic politics at the time, like we do all the time in politics about what Trump is going to do or not going to be.
You sure about that one? You sure about he knows? You could predict what he's going to do.
It's just a hypothesis. It's
I know.
It's much more likely. It's far more likely than a God is speaking to this person.
Okay, that's fine. That was just something that came to my mind when you mentioned that. So no, that's totally understandable. What was I think I had another question. What's it called? I can't really think of it. So I guess I'll just say that Jesus actually did fulfill a prophecy, though.
Deuteronomy 13 or Zechariah 13.
Damn, you got my joke. Damn it.
Yeah, I'm way ahead of you. False prophet.
I mean, technically speaking, that could have been fulfilled. Technically speaking, I mean, he is someone that said, he did wonders, and someone in his name, said that let's follow a different set of laws. I mean, technically, but
yeah.
Although
I wouldn't consider Deuteronomy 13 necessarily be prophecy, but Zechariah 13 would be a prophecy. But I think every prophet is a false prophet, though. So, but it's a good joke. But it's a good joke. I use it. I do it all the time to Christians.
Fair enough. All right. Thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it.
All right. You have a good day, Emmett.
You too.
Good guest.
And that was a good guest to end the show on because we are at the 3-hour mark and I got to go walk my dogs. So I would like to thank AK Borealis and Ashland and Question for coming up and hanging out with me. Overall, pretty good day as far as, Sticks says W to the homies, W to Sticks. Love to see you, bud. Thank you everyone on YouTube for all the super chats we got today. Shows like this wouldn't be possible without viewers like you. We will be live again on Tuesday, and maybe you'll catch me on Monday, but it won't be on YouTube. It'll just be like me bullshitting late at night. Christina says W France. God, Christina, I'm so sad that I couldn't be in San Francisco to hang out with all you ladies. But I'm broke as fuck. One day. But anyways, I've been the Bible guy. Remember to let me see who I can send you guys off to before I dearly depart. Let's see who's live right now.
I think John Cohen is.
John Cohen's live?
Mm-hmm.
All right, everyone, go over to John Cohen's live. Tell him that the Bible guy sent you. And with that, I've been the Bible guy. Remember to keep reading, keep learning, and we'll see you all again on another day. Bye.
a sword of desire, ancient scrolls and cosmic flame. He tears through myth, he breaks the chain. Echoes of prophets, the scars align. Knowledge and thunder